In the wrestling world, the people are represented by two separate but unequally important groups. The wrestlers and bookers, who literally do all the hard work, and the fans, who endlessly nitpick and overanalyze everything they do. These are their stories.
Hey! It's Warhorse and you need to shut your mouth, open your eyes, and... Hey! It's Warhorse and you need to shut your mouth, open your eyes, and clean out your ears, because it's time to listen to the Raw and Order podcast. That's right, they're bringing you the best in all that meaty podcasty goodness in one, what is it, an hour? Two? Who cares? Who gives a shit? You need to listen to it right now, or else Warhorse is gonna, roll your ass!
Welcome to another episode of Raw and Order, the Wrestling Booking Unit, the only wrestling podcast on the planet that restarts the Warhorse promo in the middle of it because I accidentally clicked someplace. I am your host, Detective Mark Smarks, and I'm joined, as always, by my partners in crime fighting. Starting off, District Attorney Vince Kayfabe. What's going on, man? How are you?
Special thanks to Warhorse for the moment of silence there in honor of Sami Zayn's chances of winning.
Also joining us from up north in Montreal, coming to us after going to SmackDown and Elimination Chamber, we got JLB.
Let's go, Sammy! Let's go, Sammy! It ain't over yet, ladies and gentlemen. It ain't over, it ain't over, it ain't over. By God, was it a good time? I got me some autographs on the autograph shirt, which you can buy the autograph shirt at shop.spreadshirt.com/RawandOrderWBU, if I'm not mistaken. And the links will be down below in the doobly-doos. Might as well, actually. I got me some Edge and got me some Bo Dallas signed right here.
Believe.
Whoa. How many people? You talked to how many people there? I saw pictures.
The problem is I got a bunch of more pictures than autographs because honestly, some people were such in a rush that I was like, let me get a photo. Bam, 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 bam. And then a bunch of other people ran on them. Edge, I got separately, and Edge was like, oh, cool, got a photo and everything like that there. So,
yeah.
I also feel as a 30-something-year-old, feeling pretty creepy, hanging around freaking hotel rooms, hotel lobbies, just to get autographs. There
is the trick that DA Fabe and I had is we went to a meet and greet, so we were meeting these people in a position where they were already wanting to sign autographs, ready to sign autographs, and B, we were not wearing the shirts. We had them in our hands. And
we also had our own Sharpies. Even though they had Sharpies, we had our own Sharpies as well.
Mm-hmm. Which made it, a little bit easier because you're not asking them to sign something that's on your body. You're handing it over to them.
Side note, Billy Gunn, you still owe me a Sharpie.
But that being said,
Edge signed mine. He's like, just pull it down a bit. I'm like, yeah,
yep.
There you go, bro.
Edge signed it. Bo signed yours. The other thing is, I will point out, your thing says WWE 2023. It does not say Elimination Chamber on it. And
no, it
I'm
doesn't.
sure that was purposeful because you were going to both SmackDown and Elimination Chamber, so it makes sense. But that means if you make it to another show, or they have just a random signing, they do a signing at Rogers Wireless or whatever. I don't fucking know. They do Cricket Wireless signings all the time here in America. I don't know if you got something like Cricket up there.
We do.
And so, if they have some random signing at one of those things, you have a shirt.
You could just bring that.
You can go there and get that signature. And there's a lot of spaces left for it on there. But
I'm not going to bitch about the wrestlers not respecting the lines there. But, It is what it is. So I'm like, yeah, no problem. Take the whole page if you want here.
In fairness, if I were to redesign the shirt, which I might do a fresh design someday, if I were to redesign the shirt, I would probably make the lines a little bit more noticeable, a little bit, because I purposely tried to make them look like they were written in penciled in lines. You know what I mean? So kind of an off gray, which is it kind of blends into the background. But.
Side note: did they tell you it was really easy to sign on? I mean, other than that, your nipple was in the way. Because you were wearing
Right. No, I mean, they didn't necessarily say much, but they signed on it like no problem. So I guess it was easy for them to sign on, you know?
That's a big deal. It does make their lives easier. So it's
It does make their
faster in
lives
those
easier.
moments.
Yeah,
that's fair.
You know, they talked to us about signing on when people just had a regular T-shirt and they're trying to sign on the
pull tight.
fabric. You have to try to pull it straight and flat and all of this stuff.
Right.
And this printed area makes it really easy for them to sign on. Anyways, this is our Elimination Chamber review podcast. So if you are new to our pay-per-view reviews or premium streaming event reviews, in the case of WWE, we do them a little different than other shows out there. We don't go match by match down and talk about this is what happened and this is what happened and here's what we thought of this match. We do a worst and then best countdown, right? So we're going to start off, we're going to talk about the things we didn't like about the night.
Time out. I thought this was where we were talking about Colby Carino signing with WWE.
If you want to talk about Colby Carino signing, I mean, he's going to be in the Performance Center and NXT 2.1 or whatever the fuck they call it now.
Still
for a while,
2.0.
so
For a little
2.0.
while. For a little while. Yeah. No, Steve Carino's kid just saying though. That's pretty cool.
yeah, it is cool.
Oh, that is cool. Nice.
But we're going to talk about the show. We're going to talk about what we didn't like about it. I just based on our pre-show conversation, I feel like DA Fabe has more stuff that he's going to talk about not liking than JLB.
Right.
JLB has the interesting perspective of being there, which means while he was there for the experience and all of that stuff, he also didn't get to see the camera angles and all that stuff of it,
Or hear the commentating, or see the backstage segments, because Elimination Chamber means you don't get a Titantron in the middle of the screen at least a bit, so we can at least see what the fuck's going on camera.
Well, and like little things like Montez Ford climbing up the cage and then dropping. We got a camera angle that was underneath him dropping down towards the people. You saw it from over here, up there, you know, and Montez Ford looked this big. It was like G.I. Joe falling.
Yep.
G.I. Joes are bigger than that, but anyways.
That's fair. Yep.
But still, we're going to start with the worst. We're going to move to the best. If you have something, if you're watching and you want to hit us up in the chat with what you thought the worst were and the best were as we go along, feel free to do that. We'd love to hear your opinions on things. But we're going to go ahead and get in it. We're going to start off with what we always start off. Start off big with worst match of the night. Now, remember, there were only 5 matches of the night. There were no matches on a pre-show because this is WWE, and why would we put a match on a pre-show?
Trying to figure out if we had a dark match before the Chamber. No, I don't think we did. We had 2 dark matches for SmackDown afterwards, but yeah.
Mm-hmm. So, to recap, there were 5 matches. You had the Women's Elimination Chamber that featured Natalya, Nikki Cross, Liv Morgan, Raquel Rodriguez, Carmella, and Asuka. And the winner gets a match at WrestleMania for the Raw Women's Championship. You had Brock Lesnar versus Bobby Lashley in another match because they needed to wrestle again. You had the mixed tag match with Judgment Day featuring Finn Balor and Rhea Ripley versus Edge and Beth Phoenix. You had Austin Theory defending his United States Championship in the Elimination Chamber against Bronson Reed, Damian Priest, Johnny Gargano, Montez Ford, and Seth freaking Rollins. And then the main event of the night was Roman Reigns as the undisputed Universal Champion, defending it against hometown hero, former honorary Uce, Sami Zayn. So worst match of the night. I know where I go with it.
What are you thinking?
At the show, though, I want to hear what At the Show thought was the worst match of the night.
So it wasn't any of the chambers. Although, a chamber live in the crowd isn't also great either, but the chamber matches were fun. I don't know. I kind of enjoyed the Edge. I enjoyed the Edge Beth match. And honestly, us chanting "fuck you, Dominic" was hilarious, and that's always on my highlight reel every time. So, what was the other match? Okay, the chamber in the main event.
Men's chamber, women's chamber, Edge and Beth versus Judgment Day, main event, Brock and Bobby.
Oh, Brock and Bobby. Fun fact: I guess I can't even necessarily say that because we legit decided to go have a smoke during the Brock and Bobby match because I watched Brock Lesnar's entrance and I'm like, okay, we can go now. And thank God I did because wow, what a shit match it was. And no Bray Wyatt at all. I'm like, man, I'm gonna be really pissed if I miss the Bray Wyatt scenario happen because Bray mentioned it on SmackDown, right? Oh, I'm gonna face Brock or Bobby, whoever wins. And then we get like nothing for Elimination Chamber on that. Brock and Bobby match was very pointless.
Except for you don't really have who Bray's going to face now.
Nope.
You do.
No clue. It's one or the other.
Yeah, it's Bobby.
Really?
He said the winner.
I mean, he won, but he didn't win.
He didn't win.
But he won.
Right. The simple fact is
He won by disqualification.
Here's what's gonna happen. I'm putting this prediction out here now. First of all, I'm gonna say I agree with you. Worst match of the night was Brock versus Bobby, hands down. It was mostly worst match of the night due to the ending because the ending was a dumb fucking ending.
And it was short. It was big
Short.
man slapping man meat. It was like 4 minutes.
4 minutes and 45 seconds of it.
Damn.
And don't get me wrong, it was like. Yeah, it was big meaty men slapping meat.
Those guys can have work rate. Those two can do work rate. They just didn't let them.
And so, but here's what's going to happen. Tomorrow night on Raw,
in Ottawa,
Bobby Lashley's going to come out to the ring. He's going to be a house on fire. He's going to push people down, whatever. He's going to grab the microphone. And he's going to say, listen, Brock Lesnar, I want you out here right now. And he's going to challenge Brock Lesnar. He's going to say, we need to end this now. He's going to challenge him to some sort of match, probably at WrestleMania, that's going to be a last man standing match. Bray Wyatt.
No holds barred or something.
Yeah, no holds barred, last man standing, maybe inside a cage where they can't hurt her, or maybe just an Extreme Rules match, or who fucking knows. But it's going to be one of those. Right. The storyline's going to be, we're going to settle this now for good. Right?
And it might be Triple H's first time saying, hey, I've already told everybody there's not going to be a Hell in a Cell pay-per-view. There's not going to be Hell in a Cell is going to be a figure match. Mm-hmm. What a good way for Triple H to mark his stamp. There's your Hell in a Cell.
Yeah, it could be, and that's the deal is it could be something like that. Now, because of that puts Bray Wyatt's involvement in a question mark, right?
Right.
Because he doesn't have to be involved in it in any way, shape, or form. Because he wasn't involved in the finish of this match, like, it would make sense if he came out and he'd helped Brock Lesnar cheat. Or helped Bobby Lashley win. Or something.
Right.
But he didn't. He had no effect on this match whatsoever. He might have said, I'm challenging the winner of the match. But I would put hard money right now.
That was on SmackDown, no? Am I crazy? Or
It
did
was,
you just say
it
that
was
to
on
us?
SmackDown. Yep.
Okay.
It was on SmackDown. But I would put hard money now that WrestleMania is going to be Brock versus Bobby in some form of
you can't get disqualified.
Yeah, no DQ match. Right. Some form of there has to be a winner match. Now, do they maybe shoehorn Bray Wyatt in it down the road? I can't say for certain that they don't, but it doesn't make sense storyline wise too.
It's a great option to also bring back that Lions Den match or something. Mm-hmm. D-Sewer, both.
Yeah, that's what someone who was it that was on the stream last night? I had Mark Jack and I had one of our other regulars, and I'm totally blanking on his name right now.
Dick. It's okay. I have a memory like a fish. I wouldn't remember either. Necro? No.
Yeah. No, it wasn't Necro. He's one of our semi-regulars, and I know he
Squash?
follows us. Squash Donkey. Yeah, there we go. It was Squash. Squash was here, and he said that what he thinks is he wants a UFC style fight, and that's the fight pit. That's what it is there.
Lions Den, yep.
Right. Lions Den fight pit. You know, just do that. Boom.
And you call Ken Shamrock, you just retired,
But then-
and say, hey, we
but then
special guest referee.
How do you get Bray out of the picture then? If Bray goes and announces this, could be like, oh, well, you guys aren't done with what you're doing. Okay, I'll just do something else. Like, no. How do you?
Bray says
How do you do that?
there wasn't really a winner. I said I want the winner between you two. So you guys figure out who the winner is.
And maybe that's the promo tomorrow night. Maybe Bray comes out and makes their match. Maybe he says, I want the best of what I'm going to get. And neither of you gave us that last night. That's my best Bray Wyatt current impression with his depressy voice.
Yeah.
Okay.
I will give an honorable mention to Edge and Beth versus. It was a good. It just, I don't know. The double powerbomb was cool, where the girls gave the powerbombs to the guys.
Right.
I say that were good. It just over that storyline. Maybe is where I'm at. I'm over.
That's fair. No. And I think this is the end of it, to be honest with you. So.
Yeah. I think this is the end of that storyline. I think
Really
this was
didn't
the
like
final payoff.
The future women's SmackDown champion taking the pin. I don't know. The match I was going to say was Bobby and Brock. It just
For sure.
Those two are capable of work rate. Give us the fucking work rate, man.
I mean, it might even be worst match of the year so far.
Yeah. And the thing is, like, if you,
and so on, but,
I get it.
That was a bad match.
If you want to have it end that way, right? At least give us 10 minutes before the DQ. You know what I mean?
Right.
At least get it to the point where, like, Brock can barely stand up. Bobby Lashley looks like he can barely stand up. They've gone for 10 minutes. You know, Lashley survived 5 F5s and a couple spears.
He survived like 73 of
Well,
them.
no, I'm saying give it to there, and then give it where Brock has survived, you know, a standing stalling vertical suplex from Bobby Lashley, and a couple Bobby Lashley spears, and a couple, you know, attempts at the thing, and you know, all this stuff. And have it a big meaty man thing, and then have it be that neither of them can barely stand, and Bobby is able to get behind and is able to lock in that hurt lock, and Brock is fading, and then we get the cheat. Because here's the deal: is part of what made that match feel so unfulfilling is that it was 4 minutes long.
Yeah.
Right.
Right. Yeah.
Like, if we'd had 10 minutes of it and it ended that way, we'd at least be like, well, we still had 10 minutes of carnage before it ended that way. Anyways.
No, we just had 10 minutes of carnage after the match because Brock went apeshit again. And then I'm like...
Apparently, he went into business for himself. That second referee F5 was not scripted. And,
are you serious? That poor ref.
And that poor ref. Because the table had already been busted by the F5 to Bobby Lashley. So that ref took a bump on an already broken table. Tried to take it as best he could, but...
Side note, I will give Brock one thing. He really sold that he couldn't fuck. And
that he couldn't what?
Get out of the hurt lock. Like
that was impressive.
Yeah.
I mean,
there was one part he was like...
And you're just looking at it, you're like, dude, you could break it. Like, of all the people I've ever seen that could break this.
I don't know, bro. Lashley's pretty freaking strong, though. I don't necessarily... I would kind of believe that Lashley could hold that on, though, too.
Well, I mean, Brock sold it like he could, so...
He did, yeah, exactly.
In regards to your honorable mention, there is one thing I want to bring up about the Edge and Beth Phoenix versus Finn Balor and Rhea Ripley. The finishing maneuver that Edge and Beth Phoenix did was identified as a shatter machine, which importantly was the Revival's finisher in WWE,
Right.
right? And they currently are FTR in AEW. I can't say for certain. I seem to remember someone hitting a version of it months ago, maybe even a year ago on WWE, and they just called it, something along the lines of a
Modified
modified
Well,
code
they also
breaker or
said-
something like that.
They also used the word code breaker last night. When
But
Nikki Cross did it.
but specifically calling it a shatter machine, to me, I said on the stream yesterday, the reaction stream, whether what do you think the over under is on whether that was purposeful? Based only on this, right? There have been rumors floating around for the last couple months that FTR are unhappy in AEW. They very well might be, a lot of people feel like they weren't utilized properly. I don't know. I mean, AEW gave them the tag belts and helped them get every other belt on the planet, it seems, for a while. But regardless,
Right.
Dax Harwood had tweeted out or Instagrammed out a photo yesterday and quickly deleted it. And the photo was an innocuous photo showing him, not him, but like his desk, and there was a bottle of alcohol on it, and the photo was like, trying this alcohol for the first time tonight, or something like that. The photo itself, totally innocuous, except for the fact that in the bottom left-hand corner of it, you could see the corner of a piece of paper that appeared to have a WWE monogram on the bottom of the piece of paper. Which has led to rampant speculation as to whether or not that was a contract offer from WWE. Adding to that, them calling it a shatter machine could be WWE hinting that the Revival, formerly FTR, might be coming back. Or it could just be us all reading into it too much, which is what we do. It was in the intro.
Dax
to this
also does
podcast.
tend to troll a lot too, though. So
He does troll a lot, and that's the deal. I mean, it could be, and it could be that piece of paper that was on the desk that had a WWE monogram on it was an old Dax Harwood Revival signature card, that he had taken out, and was putting a new frame on or something, and that's all we saw was that. Who knows fucking what it was, right? Could have been an old program to a WrestleMania that they were at a couple years ago. We don't fucking know what it was. We just saw a corner of it. But it did strike me as they said shatter machine specifically. Now, that wasn't the only AEW troll moment at Elimination Chamber. And so for a company that likes to play,
the fans sure love to do it too.
yeah, but for a company that seems to pretend that AEW is not competition for them and everything, WWE seems to sure like to bring up AEW in lots of things. Anyways, we will go ahead and move on to the second category, because I think we all agree, though, that it was Brock and Bobby that was the worst match of the night.
yeah, for sure.
Most predictable moment of the night.
I don't know, man. Like I'm thinking Roman winning, but I'm also like, after that fucking SmackDown 2, I was like, maybe Sammy has a chance. And then within that match, they also played it like Sammy had a chance really well as well. So I can't even say Roman winning. I think maybe I'm gonna go with Asuka winning the Chamber, though. I think that's probably your safe bet amongst the Chamber matches. At least Asuka's winning the Chamber match to face Bianca.
Top of a cell spot. There was just a lot of them. Somebody climbing up on top of a holding, holding cell or the waiting cell, and then doing something. I really like the Seth and Johnny Gargano won. Boy,
it looked like Gargano killed himself on that.
yeah.
Like he looked like he hit his head and was shaking off cobwebs for.
I was gonna go. The one that's predictable was the Nikki Cross one, because I didn't expect a Hurricane Rana from the top. Not a chance in hell. I thought they were gonna do something where their bodies were flipping and both heads were towards the ground, and no.
Well, even the Liv Morgan one too. Liv Morgan
one
was pretty badass.
Of the women, I think. I'm gonna say my pick for most predictable moment also is in the women's elimination chamber. I actually predicted that it might happen in both of them, and it kind of surprised me it didn't. Someone breaks through a chamber door. Wall.
Yeah,
it happens every time.
A thing every time. Yep.
You know, I'm like, oh, these are impenetrable chambers, except fucking someone breaks through them every time. The only thing that surprised me was it happened in the women's match.
And didn't in the men's.
And did not in the men's match. And it
really
surprised me that it didn't in the men's match, because the men's match had fucking Bronson Reed in it.
Correct.
Like that's a person who's designed to be that character who busts through a chamber, right?
Side note, since it was the first Elimination Chamber match where that happened, what do they do? How do they fix it?
That's what I would. They didn't.
You were there. How do they fix it?
Sure would have been nice to have
when
seen.
They do it, or they do it up in the air, or
No. They definitely did it when it was down. I think, because they had put it down a little bit before going to the other match. So I think they were kind of fixing it because the lights were kind of really off though at some point, maybe when they were showing the promos for you guys. So I think that's when they were fixing it.
I personally think they missed an opportunity to make a big deal about like these people coming out.
It's already broken.
It's broken, and these people are reinforcing it, and they, putting up an extra strip of metal and bolting it.
I think they missed the boat there, anyways, to not have a new elimination chamber where they go, well, we're going to make sure that doesn't happen anymore, so that somebody can't sneak their way in, or anything like that.
But anyways, that's my most predictable moment, is someone breaks through when Elimination Chamber first started, it was like, they would talk about how these walls are impenetrable. And now they fucking look like 1/4-inch plexiglass.
Yeah, ever since Goldberg kicked it down.
They wiggle like this when people move near them.
Exactly.
It's
also predictable moment is Corey Graves cheering for Carmella.
Yeah, that's fair. That's
fair.
That's fair. Yeah. Oh man, that is
okay.
And I also met Carmella as well. Super chill, super nice. Corey as well. Just the guy doesn't. He's one of those. He's one of those talents that just he's been through it all. My friend harassed him enough to get a picture with him, but Carmella was super chill and all that. Corey would just seem like he wanted to go into his room and whatever and rest, and kudos to him.
Oh, you met him outside his room. That's not creepy at all.
Not outside his room, outside the lobby.
Yeah, not outside his
Those
room.
hotels
just like at the hotel that he was staying at. Like right as he was getting out of his cab.
Not at all creepy.
No, not at all.
I mean, we recorded an episode live from the show and watched the wrestlers walk out to their car, and we're like, "Hey, good job tonight."
Yeah, great.
But that's because
good job,
they had to drive
guys.
6 hours.
Yeah.
Clap, clap, clap.
Overhype of the night. That's the next one. I think overhype. We could go with Brock and Bobby again because they hyped that up like it was going to be this big monster match, and they gave us 4.5 minutes.
I'm not doing it though, because it deserves this, and that's Beth and Edge. It's been a year. We've been telling the same story forever.
That's a fair point. Yeah.
I'm over it. That's my vote.
I feel like this was the payoff to the story, and they're going to move on. I feel like, frankly, I feel like we might not see Beth again for a while. Like,
Well,
Probably till
technically
Mania.
she's retired.
mm-hmm.
Probably till Mania. Fucking
But
6 weeks.
I think we're gonna get Edge moving on to something else. I mean, he could do whatever.
Well,
he wants.
Edge is going to be doing. He's going to be facing Austin Theory tomorrow night. He did mention that because Austin Theory made an open U.S. title announcement match for Monday Night Raw, and Edge took it. So because Edge wants to wrestle in Ottawa, on his hometown. Keep in mind the rumors, though, because he was also asked about his potential retirement, and he wanted to actually retire in Canada. So he mentioned, we'll see where it goes, but then he also took the U.S. title match with Austin Theory, also in Ottawa, where he said he's wanted to wrestle again for the longest time. So maybe we could potentially be seeing an Edge retirement match. I don't know.
That would be really cool to actually have a title versus retirement and actually have the person retire.
Yeah, that's fair.
This is pro wrestling. Nobody actually retires. Moving on. Worst performance of the night.
Oh, it apparently was right after the women's match that they did it. I'd asked one of my buddies who came down all the way from New Brunswick for the chamber, and it was right after the women's match, according to him, and you cannot raise the chamber without it. It's all locked in place, according to his source.
So they fixed it right after it. There you go.
They did.
Yeah.
Yep.
They missed the chance of not having it be a storyline of them fixing it before they raised it.
They did indeed.
Anyways.
Absolutely.
Worst performance of the night. Now, performance can mean outside the ring, not necessarily.
I'm going to give a kayfabe worst performance. Did a great job, but you're a shitty fucking friend, Kevin Owens, for waiting that long to come out there. That's the worst performance
He was
of the
getting
night.
beaten down
Being
for
a
like
shit fucking friend.
5 minutes, multiple hits from a chair.
Well, I didn't have a match there, so I just was hanging out with friends at the bar across the street, and
Like,
Yeah.
I
listen,
gotta
man,
go help Sammy.
the Putin at fucking catering was on fire. So.
Poutine. Yeah. Yeah, no, but at
They
the
didn't
same
have any
time,
napkins. I had to wipe my face. They didn't have any napkins, so I had to go
Be on
to the
TV.
I had to go to the restroom and get a paper towel. All the restrooms were like the hand blowers with no paper towels. So then I had to eventually find like a napkin somewhere, like concession, wipe my face real quick. So that's what took so long.
So that's my worst performance. As a whole, no individual performed poorly. No individual performed poorly. But in storyline, you're a shit friend for not being ready, man.
Yeah, straight up. Like, you did take forever. I mean, I guess maybe he thought with Jay, oh, okay, well, look, Jay's out there, whatever. And then, but then he waited still a little bit too, and then he finally came out. Got to build the suspense, guys. It's all about the suspense. The crowd fucking loved it. The crowd knew it was happening.
But I'm chewing up the fucking. I'm also eating it up. Like, by saying this, I'm eating it up. Like, why did it take you so long?
Yeah.
Either of you guys?
Fucking Ariel Helwani.
Yeah, that's fair. So on SmackDown, it's hilarious with Ariel Helwani. So on SmackDown, we chanted "Fuck you, Tony," as in we're agreeing with him. Because that's when Tony had made the Twitter announcement. But we were yelling so much at him, that the security guards were like, "Yo, you guys got to stop!" And Helwani went to go like cower even further back because this guy was just going off and on because he did like 2 segments on SmackDown, and then he also did the one on Elimination Chamber for GSP.
He was also on the kickoff show.
Was he on the kickoff show?
Yeah.
Okay.
And he's an unparalleled, reliable, like who asks the hard questions.
Unbiased source.
Unbiased, yeah.
And to be fair, everyone was going crazy on Tony's tweet But Tony's tweet was literally just promoting Rampage, though. He took a little jab, but has nothing to do with Tony Schiavone. He's chill with Tony Schiavone. It was a joke jab promote. Here's Rampage, which I didn't even watch because obviously I was all WWE'd up for SmackDown and Chamber, which I got to watch now.
I mean, ultimately, it just simply came down to this. Ariel Helwani, a year ago, not quite a year ago, like 6 months ago or whatever, after the CM Punk stuff, did an interview with Tony Khan where Tony Khan repeatedly said, I can't talk about the CM Punk stuff. And Ariel Helwani eventually came out and said, it was the most frustrating interview I've ever done. And Tony Khan, so unprofessional and wouldn't even answer a simple question or whatever. And Tony Khan was like, fuck you, Ariel. I answered the best I could, man. And by the way, you're kind of on the WWE payroll. So,
right.
And then he comes on and he's on the kickoff show for Elimination Chamber, and he's on like SmackDown, and he's on the air in Elimination Chamber, and he's promoted as unbiased and asks the hard questions, which I have to say this, right? Anytime an announcer says something on air on a WWE show or AEW, right, you have to assume that it's kayfabe, right? That it's entirely kayfabe, which means his gimmick is that he's unbiased. Not that he actually is unbiased, right?
Right.
It's his character, right? His WWE character is that he's unbiased, right? He fucking... Anyways. It's like the simple fact is, it's why I have a hard time with Pete Rosenberg's actual podcasts. Because he plays a character on WWE on these kickoff shows, and then he goes off and tries to have a legitimate fucking podcast where he talks about the real stuff. If Dave Meltzer or Sean Ross Sapp or fucking Brian Alvarez were regular appearances on AEW shows and pay-per-views, right? You would not hear the end of it from fucking WWE people, right? Oh, that just shows how biased they are. I mean, they already get accused of being biased, right? If they showed up on actual screen, right? Fuck, if Meltzer was there, they'd lose their fucking minds with, oh, look, it just shows how biased Meltzer is. Anyways, let's... I don't know, JLB, did you have a worst performance of the night?
I'm just going to go, well, now that we know about the whole Brock second F5 scenario, I got to give it to Brock just for the match and then his outburst. I'm kind of done with all this stupid little outburst. He's eventually going to get someone really injured, and WWE just kind of needs to stop using him. Honestly, like I'm terrified, like as if Nia Jax was about to wrestle someone in the ring for whoever Brock Lesnar is facing, either during a match or after, because he completely does whatever the hell he wants. We saw the outburst during Rumble, and some of them were not scripted, and then here as well too. Just it's stupid. This guy's eventually just going to hurt someone, and so Brock Lesnar's my worst performance.
Okay. Moving on to worst move. Now, I know we're going to have a whole lot of discussion about best move of the night because there were some crazy things. What was the single worst move?
Raquel Rodriguez powerbomb into the side of the chamber when she had to kind of waddle forward to get it right. It was awkward. She was holding two people at that time, so it's a little tough to do that. Mm-hmm. It just was. It looked sloppy, and the camera angles weren't right for it. And also, Kevin Owens, where the fuck were you, bud?
Yeah, that's a fair point. Yeah, I don't. Worst move. I remember reacting something to.
Well, while you think,
don't
I'll
know.
give you my worst.
Yeah. Yep. Go right ahead.
Fucking Natalia, who, despite being trained by the Heart, still can't do a fucking sharpshooter right.
I mean, I was gonna mention that for sure.
It's okay
But,
because
you know, it's a
Asuka came in
given.
and blocked it by pulling on her arm
straight
at
up.
the same time.
Yeah, that's it. And got Natty
Boy.
out of there.
If you didn't fall in love with Liv during that moment when she passed out, well, fuck you guys.
Yeah, Liv put in a performance. Liv put in a real heart.
Even Carmella, dude, Carmella was even like top notch. I found too, though.
Mm-hmm.
Like she was the
chicken
second
shit
last.
heel.
Yeah.
And
no,
the chicken
but
shit
she
heel,
still kinda did her
running
last.
and hiding in the chambers. You know, picking her moments. That's what her character's supposed to do, right? Pick your moments.
I
Go
felt
for
like
the
she
quick
did
pins.
more. Yeah, I just felt like she did more than she usually does. I guess maybe because she outlasted all the others, and then Asuka finally.
She was
beat
also
her.
the last
Maybe.
entrant, so.
Yeah, I mean, she had
That's fair.
arguably 2.5 eliminations, right?
Right.
She eliminated let me look again here. She helped eliminate Raquel Rodriguez. She eliminated was eliminated by Asuka. She eliminated who did she? Oh,
Right.
she also helped eliminate
Natty.
Raquel Rodriguez.
Yeah, Natty, Raquel, and thing,
But
and Liv. No, it was 3 technically.
yeah, she eliminated Natalia. She helped eliminate Raquel. I guess 2.5. Anyways, regardless, she put in work too. So, okay, moving on. Worst booking decision. I hate to say Brock and Bobby again, but fuck.
So Bobby, by the way, Carmella wasn't the last person out of the chamber. Asuka was.
The last person eliminated.
You mean out of the bin?
Yeah. Yeah, but I mean, out of the chamber. You guys were saying
Yeah,
that
Asuka
she
was
was
the
also
very
one
last.
out of the chamber. Yeah. Okay.
My mistake. Still Brock and Bobby.
You're bad. What was the award?
Worst booking decision.
The only
Brock
other
and
thing that even competes with that is the lack of other stuff being defended.
Yeah.
You have
that's
7 million
fair.
titles.
Yeah. Now I will say honorable mention to it is I have to word this carefully because I don't want people to think I'm saying that I didn't like it. And the way the winner of the main event without being the champion change hands, right? Here's what they should have done, in my opinion, right? They should have given the crowd something to be excited for with Sammy getting a win, but do it in a way that the title doesn't change hands.
Yeah, I mean, how does that ref not run out to the ring to count the 3 count and not run out and count the disqualification?
Yeah, that's my thing is.
You beat him with a chair.
Have Sammy get the win because Roman just fucking goes apeshit and hits him with a chair. Or, one of my favorite heel things in a championship match is taking your belt and leaving. Right? Saying, I'm frustrated. I've thrown everything I could at this person. I'm having a hard time. I'm going to invoke Champion's Advantage. I'm just going to fucking deuce. Right? He can get the W, but he won't get this belt. That's fine, And that would give the people in Montreal the moment that they wanted of Sammy being victorious, but still preserve your precious Roman Reigns as champion. It also could have set up a moment. Roman deuces out. Sammy's in the ring. He gets the victory, but he doesn't win the belt. They pronounce him the winner. He can look frustrated because, I was here to win the belt. This was my time to prove that I could beat Roman Reigns. You could even have him get the visual pin that you got earlier. You could have him kick out of some of the big things, Roman, all of that stuff. But then Roman deuces out. Yeah, the same stuff they did. You could do all of that stuff, and then have Roman deuce out and leave, and then Sammy's in the thing. He gets announced as victor, a winner but not new champion. The ref holds up his hand, and then Jimmy Uso hits the ring, hits him with a chair, flattens him. Roman comes back in now that he's got an advantage. Then the rest of it plays out the same, right?
Correct.
The storyline remains the same. Jey Uso shows up, refuses to hit him with the chair, gets the accidental spear from Sammy, more beatdown. Kevin Owens makes the save. You can have the same storyline, but you give the crowd the thing that they wanted, which was the announcement of Sami Zayn as the winner. Right. That's a minor thing because in the end it didn't change anything. I just feel that WWE has this long history of refusing to give the crowd, like, it's almost bullheaded. The crowd wants something, we're not gonna ever give it to them.
Not gonna get that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
the crowd
but
wants...
I mean, I think they did do it strategically, though, because the match itself was pretty fire and got the crowd hyped in believing Sammy was actually going to win, to the point where I think they mastered it really well, because once Sammy lost, I was expecting people go ape shit. But, people were just shocked. Just legit shocked. They were shocked, saddened, and I'm like, okay, but a good majority of you knew Roman was going to win. You guys are now shocked because of just how well this match.
Which is why
we all thought Roman was going to win, but it really
you could be even
well.
more shocked with Sammy actually getting the win. And that's what I'm saying. It doesn't change the rest of it. It just gives the crowd one thing.
But the count out win is kind of lame.
And so is a mule kick to the nuts. WWE has never shied away from kind of lame. My point is, I think that crowd would have absolutely exploded at your winner, Sami Zayn. And then the rest of the storyline can play out. And, I'm not saying they had to do the count out, the deuce out. That's just one of my favorite ways for the champion, the heel champion, to win. But have him just hit him with a chair. Have him get so frustrated. I cannot be... It's the storyline they told with Seth Rollins versus Roman Reigns. I cannot find a way to beat him, so I have to cheat to win, right? Or I don't care about winning anymore. I just want to inflict pain. That's the same storyline they can tell with Sami Zayn of, listen, I couldn't find a way to beat him. He somehow or another had my number. That's what they were telling, and then they still had Roman win. I'm saying with a very slight change of giving Sammy the victory in a way that still keeps Roman the champion would have given that crowd something more to latch on to. And I think so much of it is WWE has this fucking bullheaded attitude of, we can never get the hometown hero the big win. We have to always always find some way for the hometown. It's so much that there's legitimately Reddit pages that are dedicated to the hometown person always loses in WWE. And they do every time someone is pitched as the hometown hero, the local boy, WWE decides to have them lose. Fucking just once have them win. Give the crowd their storybook for a moment, right? Because that's the way the perfect stories in professional wrestling always have to end with the face winning. Now, I know in the end, WWE thinks the face in this storyline is Cody Rhodes, right? And you can still have that with him finally winning the belt, but you could do that in a way that still gives this hometown crowd in Montreal this extra glimmer of hope, glimmer of greatness, for a moment, right? And then you have the rest of the stuff play off the same way. You have the Usos interfere. You have Kevin Owens come out to make the final save. You have Kevin Owens step back to let Sami Zayn get the final blow, and then leave, and all of that stuff. You can still set up to the same storyline that they're probably going to set up, which is going to be Sami and KO versus the Usos for the tag belts.
Right.
You can do all of that stuff, but you could still have given the crowd something to be super happy about there. And that's my thing. Now, I'm saying this, worst booking decision of the night was still Brock versus Bobby, because
Right.
that's deeper than just this. That was them like basically just giving an FU to the whole crowd because we wanted to see a powerhouse big hoss battle, and you give us 4
And then-
minutes of it, and then just fucking deuce out on it,
And then just confusing us with the whole Bray Wyatt add on there. Like, what the fuck are you doing? What? Why? Like, okay.
But anyways,
And Uncle Howdy was there chilling. Fun fact, Bo Dallas was also in Montreal. So, I mean, if that's not any clear indication, aside from maybe him supporting his wife, Liv.
He was supporting his wife. You stop. He's
Yeah.
not Uncle Howdy.
his wife and his brother were both there. Jeez.
I was like,
I'm gonna have to come out.
I
And
did
then,
hear
like,
unconfirmed reports that El Generico was also in Montreal, but I didn't see any pictures. I mean,
there was a lot of LA chants.
apparently we are boring Ambrosia. So
I mean, that's kind of. I mean, we can't be the. Hey, if we're so boring, we finally make her sleep. That's a good sign because this girl never sleeps.
There's this help. That
You're
help?
welcome.
yeah.
It's.
Oh, Billy.
Oh, Billy.
Okay, final worst of the night. Worst moment.
Worst moment.
Well, because the match was only a moment long,
Oh my god.
Brock and Bobby.
Yeah, I hate
The
to.
most disappointing moment was Sammy losing.
Yeah, I hate to beat a dead horse, but it probably was Brock and Bobby. But yeah, that's really what the worst moment was. Now, agreed. I agreed. The other worst moment was Sammy not winning. This was their chance to give a storybook, and fucking like, listen, I'm gonna be
Triple threaded, man. Triple threaded. Mania, Cody, Sammy, Roman.
That's
We could have
my
done
point.
something or split the belts.
I think they
They
still
still
need
have
to.
that.
The SmackDown Championship.
Because Sammy had the pin without the ref there.
Yep. He
Yeah.
he could come out
We counted
on
to 9.
Raw tomorrow and say, I had you, and you had to cheat to beat me. I had you. And they still could set it up as a triple threat. They could have Cody come out and do another fire promo saying, I saw it, you had him, right? And everything. They still could do it, but they could have done it with a storybook moment. And WWE just seems to just, like I say, just bullheadedly just dig their heels in. Can't do that.
Win in Montreal.
No, we can't. We can't have the Canadian win in Montreal. It's against the rules. Right? Unless they're a legend, right? Unless they're like a legend who might be retiring, and we have to like try to convince them to stay around a little bit. But otherwise, we can't have them win. It's right
Sammy
here
did
in the
mention he was
WWE
strange.
bylaws.
He mentioned he was
Nobody
feeling
wins
very
it.
strange after the post conference too. On top of that, which obviously you knew what the result was going to be, but to have that moment of you win the title in your hometown and yada yada yada, or even just to get that victory in that finish there, like you were alluding to, it kind of just felt a bit off to him, which obviously makes sense. Everyone wants to have that total dream moment, especially
I will
headline
say
Mania.
at this moment here that I can't fucking stand WWE's post-show media scrum. I can't stand their press conference. It's so fucking scripted and so transparently kayfabe. I just like.
I do want to give a side note. When guys travel to somewhere that is home and they haven't been there for ages, do you think they stay at their parents' house? Or do you think they stay in the security hotels?
I can answer, at least in the case of Sami Zayn, because they specifically mentioned it on commentary, that he was dropped off at the arena by his parents.
Ha! Cool as shit.
So that means, at least canonically,
Yeah,
Sami
Sami-
Zayn came from his parents' house.
Yeah, that's it. So
Now,
I
they
think Sammy
do
still has
also
a place
mention that
in Montreal.
he
though,
has
too.
a place. His wife is there. His wife was at
Yeah.
ringside.
Yeah.
But they specifically mentioned that his parents dropped him off at the show. So canonically speaking, that means what they're saying is Sami Zayn said, I could sleep in my own bed or I could sleep in my childhood bed.
And I chose my
childhood bed.
Top bunk.
Yes. Anyways, we're going to go ahead and move on to the best. Starting off with best moment of the night. Now, moment can be a move. It can be like a victory. It can be a moment at the end. It can be anything. We do have the best move later on, so
Only because I'm saving what I think was the best moment for a best move. I'm gonna give a best moment to Logan Paul. And boom,
That's fair.
Now we have a feud.
I watching it
I think
live.
there's a better moment, but it was a move, and so I'm gonna save it for that.
Watching the show live, I was picking Rollins to win, and there is a reason behind my picking Rollins to win it. But that moment was, I don't want to say unexpected, because they have been building that feud. But It was the big moment that made me go, oh shit, they're doing this now, you know? And so Logan coming is a big thing. I would say in terms of best moment, I think it would be the face-off Kevin and Sammy at the end. Best moment. With them standing in the ring, Kevin stepping aside to allow Sammy to get one last haluva kick in, and then eye contact as he left, sort of a thing. I think that was probably best moment, but the Logan Paul moment was definitely up there.
You just dude knows how to be hated.
He does well, and on top of it, he is a showman. He
really
showed
is.
that through his podcast and his antics on YouTube and Vine and whatever fucking he uses now, Clapper, I don't know, whatever.
And Triller event with freaking Floyd Mayweather. You know what I mean? Like this guy.
You know, he's a showman. He does all this stuff, but he knew
Great
how
show.
to hit the ring, hit the move. Although I still say Hangman Page does a better buckshot lariat.
I don't know, man. I'm kind of really digging Logan's buckshots though, because sometimes
I'm not saying this is bad. I'm just saying, and I think a lot of it comes down to what was the difference between JBL's clothesline and most other people's clotheslines? It was the
JBL
follow
just hit it with more impact.
It was the
JBL
follow
was from hell.
It was from hell, but it was the follow through. He didn't just hit the clothesline and stay standing. He hit the clothesline and he followed the person all the way to the ground.
Yeah.
Most of the time, that's the way the buckshot lariat Hangman Page delivers. Logan Paul hits it and still standing, and to me, that lessens the impact. The move to me looks better when it's your entire body force goes into the lariat, knocking the person down. But anyways, but I'm not saying he does a bad one. Definitely does it better than I would do it. But I just think Hangman Page's is just a hair better. Did we get everyone's best moment?
Me, it's gonna be Sammy KO in the ring. Just for the fact that I've watched both these guys in the Indies, start in Montreal and all that, just to go full circle with that now into WWE, fucking crazy. Just there can't be a better moment like that for Montreal fans. Just absolutely amazing.
I have a runner-up though, an honorable mention.
SmackDown the night before was also pretty dope. Let's go. Yeah, the Let's Go theme song came back, which was dope.
Getting Sammy's old school theme song back, the crowd erupting, and I know he got it back on SmackDown. It wasn't just for Elimination Chamber. He got it back earlier, but that moment there that's why it's probably runner-up, not top moment. Breakout star of the night. This is another one that's always tough on these because there wasn't a single person on this show that wasn't already spotlighted pretty heavily.
But for the average fan, it is Johnny Gargano.
That's a good choice.
Dude was fire.
Johnny Gargano
match.
Definitely.
I wanted a
Fire
Seth
match.
Gargano match until Logan came in. I'm like, oh, guess I'm not getting Seth Gargano.
I really enjoyed this kind of buddy bromance that was between Seth and Johnny Gargano at the beginning, where they were teaming up and everything was good, and it came to a head. They both got up on the top of one of the chambers,
Just sitting there,
they're sitting there, and they're like, "How you doing?" And then the turn, because Seth Rollins is a fucking shark and he's gonna attack you. That's what he does. But I really liked them getting along. They had good chemistry. There's a different person in the men's match that to me was the breakout star of the match.
Is that Austin Theory?
No,
that's Montez Ford.
Oh,
baby.
Tez. Now I said on the reaction stream, I stand by it. I'm just worried that WWE is going to do the thing WWE does, and that is break up the Street Profits so that they can push.
I don't think you have to. And
you don't have to. We have countless cases over the last 30 years in WWE, WCW of tag team partners. One of them goes off and gets singles gold, and they stay as a tag team. And I think that's what they need to do here. This isn't saying that Dawkins can't hold his own on his own, but what almost always happens when you break up a tag team to feature one person is the other person gets kind of pushed to the side.
Hey, Tucky, we're talking about you.
Yes, Tucky's gone, and the thing is,
probably the better athlete of the two.
Yeah, he just didn't have the charisma of Otis. Another good example of this happening was when they broke up the Rockers, right? You knew they had decided that HBK was their
Marty
man.
Jannetty got fucked.
Marty Jannetty got fucked and never recovered.
It wasn't by his daughter.
And it wasn't by his daughter, who wasn't actually his daughter. We're not actually. I mean, I just raised her as my daughter, but I found out she's not my daughter.
Cringe. Oh,
anyways,
damn. Yeah, fuck for life.
It's happened many times where they break them up because they feel like they need to. They almost did it with the New Day when Kofi became champ, right? They really did. They're like, oh, let's take the New Day away. They tried to, and the fans in the crowd didn't let it happen. But they need to keep Tez and Dawkins together.
Well, same with Big E. When Big E eventually became thing, they tried to split them on different shows, and then they had to bring them all back together again.
But Tez looked like a house on fire last night.
Yeah. Tez was great.
Yeah.
So he's my choice.
This is moment. Breakout star. Yeah, it would most likely be Tez for me as well. That guy's always fire in the ring anyways, but I mean, he went above and beyond from, you can't put Seth in there, I feel, or Gargano, just because I feel they've already reached a certain level already, anyways. So I think Montez Ford is the right choice. It's definitely not going to be Brock or Lashley. I'll tell you that much.
Here's why I thought Seth Rollins was going to win. There was a report that came out yesterday that, based on sources in the WWE, at least at the time that they talked to him, there was no plan to split up the world titles at that moment. And that's why they made the choice to make the Elimination Chamber for the men's for the U.S. title, is because this gave Raw a premium title to focus on. Because since Roman was not on Raw very often, Raw didn't have a title to fight for. And my thought process is, of those people, the first person that I put a premium title on, if I want a title to feel like the top title on your show, that's Rollins. He's
they've been making the U.S. Championship the top title for Raw, though, already, technically. So
I know, but this is why they put it as this, it was to elevate it. And I think the best way to elevate it, in my opinion, was Rollins. I thought Damian Priest is a good second choice because he's very good look. He's a very good character. And it would help. He's part of a popular faction that it would help to put over. As much as I love Gargano and Tez and even Austin Theory, they were a thing. And the only person in the match that I personally would not have put the belt on is probably the one that I'm going to get the most hate for saying this. I still, Bronson Reed does nothing to me.
No, that's fair. Although he looked awesome in this chamber match. I feel like this is the most I was excited about Bronson Reed being in any kind of match. Because he looked like he was fired up. He was good to go. I don't know if that was due to the crowd or whatever. This is his first Elimination Chamber match, so he was excited. But he looked like $1 million in that match as well. We'll see if that goes forward.
How do you not have him go through one of the chambers? I just don't get it.
That I don't know.
But best line of the night.
Ole, 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 ole from the crowd.
I can tell you this. I can tell you this. It certainly wasn't respected and unbiased news source interviewer.
I mean, fuck you, Dominic is up there too, and fuck you, Roman as well. So the crowd definitely takes the cake.
I will give this one thing. That crowd makes Chicago look fucking weak. Y'all are fucking fire.
I think some of it comes down to Chicago gets fucking wrestling all the time.
All the time, too. Yeah,
between AEW and WWE and all of the indies that Chicago has, and being hometown to CM Punk, it gets as important to note, this was the first time WWE had a pay-per-view in Chicago, in Montreal, in how many years?
Since 2002.
Yeah.
Pay-per-view since 2002, yeah.
Since 2002.
No way up. Yeah.
To do the math for people, that's 21 years. Right? So they were starved.
No one seems to remember that. Even the commentators mentioned like Survivor Series, like 97. I'm like, no, there was No Way Out, 2002. What the fuck? No. I feel like we might have at some point after that, actually. Maybe 2009. I'll look into that. But yeah, it's been a hot minute compared to Chicago. That's for sure.
The one that is an honorable mention to me, I'm trying to find the exact quote because it wasn't picked up by the microphones.
The fuck you Roman one? That you got
There
that
we go.
the US
Nope.
censored?
At the end when KO came in and attacked Roman and all that stuff, Paul Heyman got into the ring and
Right.
attacked Kevin Owens from the back with a whole bunch of super stiff looking hits to the back. And then KO turned around and you almost couldn't hear it, which is why I think it's only honorable mention. But he said to KO, quote, if you watch closely, you can see it. But he says, "I've always loved you. I've always wanted to be with you, not with him. Screw him. I love you." Now, of course, that was just Paul Heyman being
Like not
fucking
wanting to get his ass
Chicken
kicked.
shit heel.
chicken
Right.
shit sniveling heel manager, right? And he ended up getting a stunner for his trouble. But that's one of those. That's Paul Heyman being the chicken shit heel manager at the top, which I do wonder if
Right.
they're not going to have some payoff to that between Roman and Paul. You know, where Roman's like, Wiseman, come here. I need to talk to you.
You've always loved Kevin, huh?
Yeah. What's this about loving Kevin? I had to say it. I had to say it to distract him, to give you a chance to. Anyways, moving on. We're on the downward stretch here. Best performance of the night.
Best performance.
Sami Zayn.
Yeah, come on. Are we even debating?
Sammy.
It's Sammy.
Yeah.
It's
you
fucking
didn't
Sammy.
have 6 people to play off of. I'd have given it to
No,
those
that's
guys in the men's elimination chamber, but it's Sami Zayn.
Yeah, but Sammy.
It's
Sammy
Sammy.
didn't need anything else. He didn't need a cage. He didn't need anything. He needed his 17,000 people behind him, and the energy was up.
Yeah.
It was.
If that
fire.
match didn't exist, we could throw out names from the men's chamber. I could throw out
Right.
fucking Liv Morgan
Liv
in
Morgan,
the women's chamber. There are other options, but this is not a vacuum. This match existed. And
Right.
with this match in existence, it's fucking Sammy.
Yeah, for sure.
I don't think there's another.
Nope.
Moving on to underhype of the night.
Maybe the women's chamber. Unless I'm doing that
I don't know.
wrong.
They had a whole match for people to try and get into it.
Yeah. That's fair. But I mean, obviously Sammy Roman was severely hyped up. The other chamber was as well. Brock and Lashley were as well. So, and Edge and Beth. I mean, no, but that was still kind of pretty hyped. I don't know. I would probably go with the women's chamber though, because I thought that was going to be the weakest out of the two, and they ended up both being significantly fire. So, and I couldn't give you my best one. Like they both had their own moments, and
Yeah, I mean, again, in a vacuum, if the main event didn't exist, we'd be debating which one of those matches was match of the night.
right.
But we're not in a vacuum. So,
Underhype of the night would be. I'm gonna go with Liv.
that was a good choice.
Yeah.
She's on my list.
She just-
I'm also going to throw Carmella in there for the same reasons we talked
Straight
about
up.
before. She put on a performance that is not what we expect out of Carmella. We expect Carmella to be all fluff, right? In our minds, Carmella is
James Ellsworth's girlfriend.
She's left over from the diva era, basically.
I mean, yes and no,
even though she
but
isn't, but like her whole gimmick is based on look at how pretty I am. Prettiest girl in WWE. I'm so sexy, all of this stuff. And we're in an era in WWE where the women are supposed to be judged on their skill. And while yes, they're all good looking, they all have their sex appeal, they all on that, we're judging on their skill. And Carmella, if you were to ask 100 people to rank WWE women, Carmella wouldn't be in almost anyone's top 10, right? In terms of ring skill. She proved not just her ring skill, but also her performance skill in this match. That's why she's my choice. Liv is a very close second to me. Liv showed guts. She showed grit, willingness to do fucking crazy sunset flip power bombs off the top.
Right. Yeah, straight up.
Fucking nuts.
Straight up. I never thought I would like to see another Liv match ever because of the botchery they have done with her, from giving her the championship and then no one caring and then whatever have you, and that whole Ronda Rousey fiasco and all that. But man, I was like, Liv, what up? Like, where the hell did you come from? You came out of nowhere from me just totally any of the shit that you do. And then even when she went a little crazy, it was still kind of stupid. But she put, Liv is probably a really good choice as well. That women's chamber was fire when none of us, I really think, thought it was going to be. We just thought Asuka was going to win. It was going to be a one and done. But even Raquel looked pretty freaking decent when no one really necessarily cared for Raquel. So,
yeah.
Probably
my biggest problem is they're pushing Raquel as a baby face.
Yeah, she needs to go heel.
Babyface monster doesn't work.
Yeah, she needs to be a monster. She needs to come out and just fucking destroy people. And part of it, I think, is that she's on SmackDown, so they've already got their monster heels in Rousey and Shayna Baszler on SmackDown. That we need her as a babyface.
I would
switch her to Raw.
That's the other piece to underhype of the night. Big names. Sure, you have Roman. Sure, you have Seth. Sure, you have Brock. Sure, you have Bobby. You have a couple of has-beens in other spots. You got Finn Balor, who's a big name for us, but not for everybody.
Oh, we had a whole conversation about Finn Balor last week.
4 people who've never been in the Elimination Chamber before, in the men's chamber. You got Asuka, really the only big name in the women's chamber.
Well, I mean, Liv is somewhat big name. Sure, there wasn't Becky.
Same as Carmella. But, yeah, it's not Becky, Bianca, Charlotte, Bayley,
right?
Alexa,
Ronda Rousey,
any
of Damage Control. Yeah, no, that's a fair point.
It was just low number of big names. It wasn't. There were no big names.
Right.
It was a low number, and so it really. I think the under of the night is the fact that we're building new people, and that's impressive. And we all cared.
And I'm going to say this. Don't get me wrong. I mentioned that I picked Seth Rollins to win because I thought that's the best way to establish the U.S. Championship. I don't have a problem with Austin Theory winning. I will say this. I fucking hate the A-Town Down as a move. Hate it. And here's the deal: is it's another one of those variants on the GTS. Right. I think I hate every single one of them. I hate Sammy Guevara's GTH, which is just an invert GTS, I think.
I think, yeah.
Who's the other? There's another one in AEW that does a version of it. Is it Ty? Is it Ty KO? Anyways, just fucking I don't even like.
I think that would make sense. TKO is like another GTS scenario.
Yeah. I don't even really like CM Punk doing it. Kenta doing it is he invented it, so let him do it. But God, fucking, there's so many other moves that I think look better for a finisher. Fucking Sasha's Mercedes
you're hitting the guy's
finisher.
head to the T. You're hitting the guy's head on your knee, though. You know what I mean? That's still pretty fucking.
Yeah.
Like,
do you know
that's
what? Do you know what's
damage.
another way to hit a guy's head on your knee? The V trigger. Do you know what looks fucking devastating? The V trigger.
That's only because it's Kenny Omega.
No one can
I
do
think-
it as good as Money in the Bucks.
I think some of it comes down to no matter which way you do the GTS or whatever, the person taking it lands on their feet and kind of does a little, and gets hit in the and it to me lessens the impact of it. And it's like I hate it when someone takes a stunner by dropping to their knees.
Right.
Fucking go down with it,
That's a fair point. Yeah.
right? I hate it when someone takes an F5 by landing on their knees, right? Flatten out.
Yeah, Brock
Man.
doesn't let you do that. Brock does not let you do that, though, usually. You're flipping.
No, he does it to you again if you do. Picks you up and does it again through a table.
Oh, poor ref.
But so I think I would appreciate Austin Theory better if his finishing maneuver was almost anything else. Fucking take one of the ones away from Baron Corbin. What was his Deep Six? Give Deep Six to
Somebody
fucking
tall.
Yeah.
Austin Theory, something. Anyways, moving on. OMG moment of the night.
It's
gotta be-
the Hurricane Rana from the top of the cell.
Well, I mean, it's the Seth. That's it. That's the Seth Gargano one you're referring
Yes.
to, right?
Yeah,
That one was
that's definitely up there. I'm gonna honorable mention Tez. Climbing all the way
Spider-Man.
to the top of the cell.
If not for John Morrison having done it before, I'd say that's what it is. But again,
That's a fair point.
spot before.
And also lives.
Sunset bid, sunset powerbomb.
Flip there.
That was
Into
an
the
OG.
ring.
That came out of nowhere. That's it, because that came out of nowhere.
Well, yeah.
You didn't really see Liv go up.
And the big thing is that was live on top of the pod
Right.
to Raquel standing on the
turnbuckles.
ring ropes into the ring. So first she had to jump a good 4 feet vertically or horizontally to even get to where she needed to be. And then she had to overshoot enough that she could spin it around into a powerbomb. And she fucking did it, That's a good. Also honorable mention though, Logan Paul showing up out of fucking nowhere to buckshot lariat and then curb stomp Rollins, man. That was definitely an OMG moment. That was a what the fuck? I did not see that coming moment.
Dare I even say the ref bumps for me happening twice in the Sami Zayn Roman match. I was like, what is going on here? What is happening? You know what I mean? It really made me consider for a good 5 minutes, maybe Sammy does have this. You know what I mean? Like they're just teasing the fuck out of us. And
it was the opposite for me. As soon as they did the ref bump, I knew that Sammy wasn't getting the win because the ref bumps always favor the heel. They allow the heel to do more stuff. Because here's what happens.
But it was one off for each though, no?
But what happens is when the ref bump happens, Sammy gets the visual pin where you counted, like you said, to 9. But because of that, this is getting into a little psychology here. Because of that, now you've given the crowd the visual pin. So now you don't have to give them the actual pin. And so when that happened there, I'm like, okay, they've made the pin deposit to the crowd. So now they know they don't have to give the crowd the actual pin. Because the crowd can say, we saw Sam, he got up to 9. Man, he would have had that one if there was just a ref in the ring. He got robbed. We're going to go out and write some harshly worded graffiti and then write sorry underneath it.
You just weren't going to let that go tonight, were you?
Sorry,
really
but
was,
that
man.
ending was bull honky.
Sorry, Montreal probably has more riots than Nebraska did, or whatever city.
Well, yeah, because
in Lincoln
Nebraska's
or wherever
Nebraska
have
nice.
Yeah.
Nebraska's slogan.
Okay,
That used to be their slogan, Nebraska nice.
Oh, that's fair. Okay.
We also have, in the entire state of Nebraska, a third of the population of Montreal?
Yeah, that's
right. And here's the deal. I'm pretty sure cows riot all the time.
It's just, you don't really think about it because their opinions are moo.
Yeah. The opinions of cows. Moo point.
Moo. Didn't think we'd be making a Friends reference tonight. That's fantastic.
The opinions of crap.
It's like a cow's opinion. It's moo.
It's a moo point.
Oh my god, it's accurate.
And you guys are
Like literally. One time I was driving back to my hometown from Republican City. I was on a back road driving. It's like 11:30 at night. I had to stop for half an hour because cows were rioting in the street in this back road. They're just out and they're like, cops couldn't contain them. Where were the cops? They were too scared to come out and handle this herd of rioting cows.
Oh, shit.
Anyway.
It's only funny to me who's on here right now because I've lived it. The other day, it was less than 2 weeks ago, I had to actually detour because they were moving cows from one field to the other field down the road I was going to drive on.
I think what you mean to say is guiding rioting cows.
Yes.
They were guiding the cows' riots away from public damage. Moving on, best move of the night. The OMG moment and best move kind of go hand in hand, but
yeah, this is Gargano.
It's
Gargano Seth.
Yeah, that just...
And truth be told, to the 4 guys down below that caught those 2 without either of them getting massively injured.
Yeah, I got to be honest. If you watch the live stream replay, I was on the fence as to whether or not Gargano had actually hurt himself.
It sure as fuck looked like it.
Because he was acting like he'd hit his head on the post of the chamber. And like he's on the ground, he's holding his head and like calling to the ref to come over and acting like, I was like, this dude fucking concussed himself on the way down. But then 5 minutes later, not even that, 30 seconds later, he was involved in some shit with Damian Priest. Damian Priest hit a razor's edge on him.
Right, yeah. No, so... No. I mean, I don't know. I maybe have to relook at that again, but it looked like they caught them all pretty nicely, so I don't know.
They did a great job.
Yeah. Here's the... I want to talk a little bit about the catching in all of the moves. In Montez off the top, in that particular moment... all of the big moves off the top of things.
Raquel by herself.
Yeah.
Pulling that one off. Slowing that down enough.
Yeah. The people doing the catching on all of these things did such a great job of something that gets overlooked in a lot of professional wrestling today, and that is hiding the setup to catching. And when you're live and in person, it's a little bit harder to hide it from the live crowd. But from the televised crowd, way too often, and it happens in AEW a lot. It's one of my biggest peeves with AEW. Someone goes to do a top rope move to the outside, and all the people are just standing around outside like, oh, geez, what are we going to do?
Yeah,
oh,
they suck at that.
Happens in AEW, happens in WWE, happens in every promotion out there. WWE was really good at hiding that last night, and some of it was the people in the ring being really good at doing something else until the last minute when they had to look up and be ready for the catch. You know what I mean?
Right.
And some of it is on like Rollins and Gargano on the top of the pod. Rollins getting ready to powerbomb him off there. There was a pause while he let the people get set up, but also not set up. Like, allowed them to get in position, but they're still fighting each other down here. And he let them kind of get there. And then it was like, okay, now it's time for this to go. And he starts to do it. And that's when Gargano knew to turn it into the Hurricane Rana. And the group of people down there were able to just in time put their hands up and catch. It was really well done. So,
yeah, definitely. They definitely planned that out for sure, because that was masterfully done on all parts. Obviously live, you can tell there were, but also the kudos to the camera work too, though. The camera work did also help, because when Rollins and Gargano were up there, you were literally just seeing the wrestlers' heads maybe fighting below, and so you really couldn't tell anything. So yeah, I don't know. I will. Oh no, I know. Tyson Kidd did the women's chamber match produced, because I had asked him, and that was the one he was producing. I don't know who did the men's, but very well orchestrated either way all around. I think maybe one of the best men's chambers I've seen in maybe a while, because I can't remember all of them there, but this was a really fun chamber.
Trying to see if anyone's put out a list of who produced what yet. Sometimes it can take a few days, so I'm not. PW Mania producers revealed. So, Women's Elimination Chamber was produced by Tyson Kidd, Petey Williams, and Molly Holly.
Nice.
And I think it shows right there. Bobby Lashley and Brock Lesnar was produced by Jason Jordan. Boo, Jason.
Damn. One job, Jason.
Rhea Ripley and Finn Balor versus Beth Phoenix and Edge was produced by Adam Pearce. Men's Elimination Chamber match was produced by Jamie Noble and Chris Park.
Great job to those two.
Sami Zayn versus Roman Reigns was produced by Michael Hayes.
That shows.
Oh, no.
That makes sense. That makes entirely sense.
But
now, this question might sound weird after being on a wrestling podcast for like 3 years. And this is them just literally scripting everything as part of what moves are going to go down and so on and so forth for the most part, then, as a producer?
Wrestlers. It depends on your wrestlers.
Depends on your wrestlers, depends on the type of match. Most of the time, they don't script every single move.
No, that's it.
They script the big moments, right?
Right.
And
this
the
could
beats,
be the
right?
pointers, right?
So they're like, okay, in the women's match, they're like, okay, so you guys are gonna fight, you're gonna do your stuff, you're gonna move over to the eventually move over to the pod, and then Liv, I need you to climb up on the pod, and then at this point, Raquel, you're gonna be climbing up the ropes, like you're gonna try to get up to the pod, you're gonna get kind of hung up on the top, and that's when we're gonna do the big move off there. Right. And so it's like bullet points. Now, some wrestlers specifically do move by move, bit by bit. Like it was a thing that DDP was kind of notorious for. He would script out the entire match. Move by move.
Okay.
And a lot of wrestlers don't like it. A lot of wrestlers like to call on the fly. Where they're like, we know what moves, especially for just the average match. We know what moves. In fact, I would be willing to bet that while we say Michael Hayes produced the Roman versus Sammy match, a
lot of that was called probably by Heyman.
Yeah, I would bet a lot of it was called maybe by Heyman, also just on the fly between the two of them. Because wrestlers like to call a lot of these, especially singles matches, on the fly, because then you can react to how the crowd reacts, right? If the crowd's a
Right.
little dead, you can call a couple big moves to try to pop the crowd up, build the heat again. If the crowd feels like they're about to explode, you can call a couple spots to simmer them down just a bit so that they don't blow too early, so on and so forth. And so, for the most part, I don't think I would argue that most of the matches were not scripted move by move. The only one that potentially might have been legitimately scripted move by move might be the Brock Bobby Lashley, up until Bobby went on his own and F5'd the referee again and all that stuff. It wouldn't
You mean
surprise
Brock.
me if that. Excuse me, Brock. Did I say Bobby? Anyway,
I felt like you said Bobby.
maybe I did.
Anyway,
I
Brock.
It wouldn't surprise me if that
kudos.
was like, you do an
gotta
F5, now you do a spear, now you do an F5, now, you know?
I gotta give
Right.
extra kudos to E Noble and was it Petey Williams that you said? For scripting 4 dudes who've never been in that match before. Now, obviously, you have Seth Rollins as the ring general out there. Obviously. And Austin Theory had been in one before. But the other 4 had never been in that match before.
Yeah.
They were experienced, but that match is different. And so, mad props to those two for guiding them through what will probably be our next category.
Yep. There's actually one more before the one I think you're thinking of. Best booking decision of the night.
Jay not turning, or Jay still being torn. And I say that because there's so much more to tell with that storyline still. That storyline, the Bloodline storyline, I think takes us past WrestleMania before there's a final Bloodline breakup. I think you have a weekend leader before there's a breakup.
I don't know. I think it all ends at Mania. At Mania, it all falls down. I feel like. I don't see why they would do this after Mania. Because then, if anything, if you were going to go that route, you would just finish everything after Mania then. You would have had this Sami Roman match after Mania when Roman has 1 or none titles kind of thing. And then Sami leaves the bloodline for that. I think everything ends with Sami in the bloodline, Jay and whatever at Mania. I do agree with you though. Jay still kind of being torn. I was like, but he took the chair, but he didn't do anything with it. And I was like, oh, so I have to watch SmackDown now.
I truly, the reason I say that it'll be a longer storyline, Rome wasn't built in a day. The bloodline wasn't built in a day. It was just Paul and Roman for a long time. There was a battle with Jay. So it was the build up to there being a bloodline for a year. Rome also didn't fall in a day. Attila took chunks, and then other Germanic tribes took chunks. Sammy's Attila the Hun. He's definitely showing the weakness of Caligula and the Roman Empire. Oh, hey, that's sorry. Anyway, he's definitely.
Intend that pun.
Yes, I intended it. Sorry. He's definitely the Attila the Hun piece to this. But he's not the end of the Roman Empire. And the Roman, I think it falls after WrestleMania. Attila the Hun takes the big chunk between now and WrestleMania, and I think there's other pieces that fall, but I think Jey Uso beating Roman in the ring happens at SummerSlam.
Okay.
Probably with the help of all the others that Roman is pissed off in the meantime. I'd love to see Brock Lesnar come out and F5 Roman so Jey can get the win. And fucking Drew comes out
and give me a Roman Brock feud. God damn it.
Drew comes out and gives a fucking Claymore,
Claymore.
Sheamus comes out and gives a fucking brogue, and just everybody that he's fucking destroyed.
Yeah,
for
that
2.5
I
years
think it's
comes out and just SummerSlam is the fall of Roman Reigns.
Yeah, don't get me wrong. I think Cody winning the belt is still the storyline to do.
Yeah, and I don't think you want to taint that with that happening then.
But I do think, having Roman, especially, here's the deal: the storyline you can play is almost every emperor that you mentioned there started to act like a little bitch towards the end, right?
Yeah.
Throw hissy fits, try to push their weight around, push their people around, started getting paranoid and everything. And then you'd have this like, listen, we've all united. We're sick of you doing this. And it can be Jay saying,
it can be
you
Heyman.
Pushed me around. It can be
Heyman.
Heyman.
Orchestrated by Heyman.
Yeah, you
It's
can
the
be
fall
Heyman
of Rome.
saying, I am tired of being this, and have it be literally just one after another. Roman's in there, and they just all come out, and one after another, just like you said, brogue kick, Claymore, F5. You can even have like a
Front
power
jump
slam
splash.
from Braun.
Yeah.
Roman gets up, staggers to the ring, and then Ray does a 619 on him.
And there's a stomp.
fuck?
Just everything.
Just
By
fucking
Seth,
like,
yeah.
down the road, all these people who are finally like, we are sick of you,
We are sick of the bloodline.
thinking you run this place, right? We are taking back this company for us.
That
And then
would
you can
take
have
away
Roman-
so much from Cody, though.
Roman can take a break.
Well, that's why you do it after. You have
That's why
Cody
you
still
don't
beat
do it at
him.
WrestleMania.
You don't do it at
Fall of
WrestleMania.
Rome
You do-
happens after
Yeah.
Attila.
Because here's
defeats
the deal: is
Caligula.
the start of the fall of the Rome is him losing the belts. That's where the paranoia comes in. That's where the blaming all of his people. Like, he starts blaming Paul Heyman. I would still have the belts if you hadn't allowed blah blah to happen. Right? He starts blaming Solo Sikoa. Listen, where were you when Cody was beating you? Why didn't you come in to save me? Right? He blames Jay and Jimmy. You were supposed to be there. And Jay could be the first one to snap and hit him. And then just the floodgates open, right? But all of that happens after he lost the belt, because the belt is the tipping point. The belt is when he starts to see the house of cards is starting to fall, and he's drastically trying to exert his power to keep it all together,
And truth be told, this has actually happened before twice. 93 and 94, not WWE's best era. They've built this way better than that. But the number of people who weren't faces that came out in 1993 when Lex Luger defeated Yokozuna. Everybody was out there.
Yeah.
And then in 94...
Was that the time he defeated Yokozuna but didn't actually win the belt?
Correct. He just knocked him out with the forearm. And Yoko was 10 counted.
Yeah.
And then the other one
snap.
in 1994 when Yoko beat The Undertaker, everybody was out there. Faces, heels, everybody was out there holding that fucking casket shut in 1994.
Yeah.
Those two matches are the ones that I most think of on this. And you were like, well, why are you out there? You're not supposed to be celebrating this, Jim Duggan. You're not supposed to be celebrating this Jake the Snake, who was a face at the time, but had a huge feud with Undertaker several years earlier. But all of them were out there celebrating.
I just always remember, Lex Luger in the ring celebrating like he just won the fucking Super Bowl.
Oh, yeah.
And like, dude, you didn't win the belt, man.
Yeah.
You won
It
the
didn't
match.
matter.
That's great.
He
but
beat
you didn't.
the unbeatable.
Which,
And that was-
which to go full circle around, could have been Sammy last night. Win the match, not the belt.
Yep.
Yeah, you see what you
The
did there?
crowd
You,
comes
you
out.
had to give him his point on a silver
Full
platter.
circle.
And you could have had everybody come out and celebrate that he'd beaten Roman,
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
straight up.
but he didn't get the title.
Yep.
Because he could have beaten him, but not for the title, whatever.
And you can get
Roman
you can
decides
get
to
Roman
leave.
coming out and
Match
bragging.
ends, and then everybody comes out and just starts beating on like the Bloodline 2 or something, and they can't leave. You know what I mean? That would have been so cool. And then KO is the last person to come out.
I just think that that's the way Rome should fall. But after it's no longer in its glory, which means the titles are off. Don't discount Cody's titles.
Yeah.
And I'm just at that point where I think that's gonna lead to we're gonna see all
Believe
of
it or
that
not,
happen
we've-
now.
Actually heard that before.
What?
What? Hands of a Stoner. Hands of Stoner just wrote.
Oh. You guys.
Yep. We have.
We've actually heard that.
Not
Oddly
first.
enough, none of us related.
None of us related. No, not at all.
One of us lives 1,000 miles away, and we've never actually met,
Nope. Except virtually.
except virtually. Never face to face yet.
Nope.
One of these days, we're gonna get him out here to Nebraska to introduce him to some real food.
Oh Jesus. Yep. Real.
Anyway, my best booking decision is Jay. And I just gave a fantasy booking for the fall of Roman Empire.
Yeah. I for the most part don't disagree. I'm gonna go with a different one from a booking decision standpoint, and that was giving Asuka the win. Now I would have preferred her to go longer in the match and be a fucking monster in the match because we need to establish Asuka back as a monster again.
She needed to have Shayna Baszler in the Elimination Chamber run.
They really should have.
But to have her be a part of 3 different eliminations, tapping out Liv Morgan,
Passing out Liv Morgan.
passing out, yeah.
Passing out Liv Morgan. That's
Pinning Raquel Rodriguez, and then eliminating Carmella. Which that was a tap out too, right?
Yes.
Trying to remember the end of that.
Yeah.
Yep, armbar. Which they called the Asuka lock, but I didn't think that was the Asuka lock.
No, I thought the Asuka lock was like Saturn.
No, well, they called it but she did the octopus move there. They didn't call that one the Asuka lock.
I'm pretty sure they called it on the final when she had Carmella down. It was an armbar with the one arm trapped. I thought they called it an Asuka lock. But I thought the Asuka lock was like a chicken wing.
Chicken wing, chicken.
Yeah, it was more like almost a.
Yeah, it was something kind of like the octopus, but on the ground, kind of thing. She was taking her arm like that.
Yeah.
But anyways, I just think having Asuka win helps establish Asuka again, and so I'm pretty, I'm happy with that. That being said, in this night, it's hard not to say the booking decision of the night was the way they booked, especially everything that happened after
Jay.
the thing. And then the final category, I think we're all gonna probably agree on this, match of the night.
Men's Elimination Chamber.
Oh shit. Okay.
Apparently not.
Apparently not.
Agree.
Yeah, obviously, Sammy Roman. I thought it was still great storytelling. I think the whole SmackDown before really helped it out too, just with the fans going apeshit and giving at least the fans that moment to really appreciate Sammy and give him that extra build-up. I think did also help play into maybe the following match afterwards, but then they just tremendously booked that entire match with the 2 refs being down and all that. and incorporating everything that they possibly could, and still wanting us to go watch SmackDown because I want to know what Jay's doing. What are you doing, Jay? What are you doing?
Well, it's going to be interesting because he did get incidentally speared by Sammy. So
But that'd be a mistake. I'm sure you said I'm sorry.
I agree, but the storyline they could always tell is that, he holds a grudge on it. For me, it was the Roman versus Sammy. That's the match of the night. It's very close, though. I mean, we're talking like A to A minus. You know what I mean? Or A minus to A minus minus. You know what I mean? Just so close. But I think a lot of it comes down to there's a TikTok I watched earlier today, and it's a wrestling TikToker named McGruber. And he posed a question. He said, "Why do you watch professional wrestling? Do you watch it for the characters or the storylines or a combination of the two? Or do you watch it for the matches? Do you watch it for the athleticism, the big moves? What is your impetus for watching professional wrestling? What brings you back time and time again?" And I spent a lot of the afternoon kind of thinking about it. And storylines are probably my number one, and match quality is number two, right? And I think that actually answers a big thing. We've got a follower on here, Necro Eric. I don't know if he's in the chat or not. I haven't seen him tonight, but he might be. And he has a hard time because his favorite style of professional wrestling is the Joshi wrestling, the pro wrestling, and then like the deathmatch indie stuff, right? And he gets a little frustrated because we don't talk as much about it. And the simple fact is we don't talk much about it because we don't follow it as closely as he does, right? I try to keep up on New Japan. I try to keep up on like Stardom, but I just don't have the time to do all of that when I'm already watching 20 hours of AEW and WWE a week, right? But I think this ties into it, right? I am very heavy into storyline. And the problem that you have with indies, specifically indies like GCW and the smaller indies, is that you don't get those storyline buildups, right? Because the wrestlers aren't necessarily there week to week. GCW does pay-per-views often, right? I think they do a couple a month. But they're not in the same location. They're just kind of all over the place. And because they don't have contracted wrestlers, GCW only has one wrestler on a full-time contract with them.
And that's Nick fucking Gage.
Yes. Everyone else is booked per appearance and more specifically as available, right? Which is why you'll see Joey Janela in 1 week and then he's not there for 3 other weeks because, he had booked matches in Japan and fucking Ireland or Jersey Shore or wherever the fuck Joey Janela books anymore. Nothing against Joey Janela. Love Joey Janela. I'm sad that he didn't work out in AEW, but it really wasn't his style. But he wrestles all over because he's got to. He's got to wrestle to pay the bills. He's going to take the bookings he can. But like GCW has Matt Cardona come in and wrestle Nick Gage and then disappear for months because he's doing other fucking things. And then he comes back and he wrestles a match and everything. The storylines have to be way more simplistic for that to go on because you can't guarantee that the storyline can continue the next week, right? I mentioned earlier that I have a prediction of what's going to happen on Raw tonight. I say tonight because it's after midnight. That Bobby Lashley is going to come out and he's going to be angry about the way he won and all of that stuff and everything. You can't do that in GCW because they don't have a show the next night someplace, right? They have their pay-per-view and then you don't see anything until 2 weeks later when they have another pay-per-view, or maybe it's a month later or whatever. And the people at this pay-per-view might not be at that next pay-per-view. You can't build these layered storylines. And I am very heavy into layered storylines. That's why the Bloodline storyline hits me so well, is because this match was storyline. Was it also good wrestling?
I mean, and
yes.
it's also everybody though, right? Like everybody who is everybody has mentioned one of the best storylines of the last 10 years or 20 years, Bloodline.
But that's my point.
It's so exceptional that
the important thing is storyline. But there are people like Necro, like a whole crowd of people who follow the deathmatch wrestling that
it's very different.
Or that storyline isn't their thing, right? They don't care about the storyline as long as these people come out and perform spectacularly.
Right. Wrestling
they're all about work rate for them. And that's fine. There's room in this world for both of us, right? So I'm not knocking that. But I found out a long time ago that I'm heavy into storyline, right? I'm heavy into storyline of the cocky HBK versus the stoic, established excellence of execution Bret Hart. And they have to prove who's right. So it's a 60-minute Iron Man match. And while the wrestling in that match was top tier and phenomenal, the storyline going into it's what brought me to the table, right? I'm storyline. These invaders from another company come in and they start messing with the wrestlers and all of this stuff. And now they're trying to take over. And who's gonna be on the side of WCW against these invaders, right? Who's gonna be the third man in the invader army? They say there's a third man. Who's gonna be the third man, right? That's all storyline.
Mabel.
Yeah, Mabel. It was obviously Mabel, right? That's the obvious choice, right? Now we've got this company, this group running roughshod over the company. Who's gonna be the person from this company who steps up and defends this company, right? Oh, we've got this guy who was one of the faces of the company, but now he's disappeared. Now he's not out here anymore. Whose side is he on? Now he starts wearing black and white. That's the colors of the bad guys. Is he on their side? He won't answer. He won't tell us. That's all storyline. That went on for a fucking year, right?
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
And I watched it the entire time. Recently, a year ago, the storyline was, and I say a year, meaning a full year ago, storyline was Adam Page can't beat Kenny Omega. Kenny Omega's the champion. Adam Page can't beat him. He keeps losing. Every time he goes against him, he loses. He has a crisis of faith in himself. He can't believe in himself. Can he finally bring it up to the point where he can beat Kenny Omega? Can he finally hit that buckshot lariat on Kenny Omega and win? That storyline went on for a year before the final payoff. So I'm obviously very heavy in the storyline. And that's kind of why I say the men's Elimination Chamber match was great. And it did have storylines in it. But for the most part, like Bronson Reed was in it because he's a big guy and fills up a pod and can do big guy things. Damian Priest is in it because he at one time was U.S. champion, and so maybe he wants it back. Montez Ford is in it because he's a tag team guy who wants to show that he can be a solo guy. The only people storyline-wise in that made a whole lot of sense was Austin Theory and Seth Rollins.
Well, and Johnny Gargano for Theory.
Well, a little bit, but the storyline wasn't huge between them either. I mean, a month ago, Johnny Gargano was battling with The Miz, and so it had storylines. I'm not saying it didn't. It had storylines, but the whole match wasn't built around storylines. The entirety of that main event was built around the storyline of can Sami Zayn, who gave up everything to be a part of the bloodline. He wanted to be a part so bad. He turned his back on his friends and his family. But eventually they pushed him too far. He couldn't do it. He couldn't do it anymore. And he turned his back on the bloodline. And now, can he finally beat Roman Reigns? Storyline, that one wins. So that's why that's match of the night for me.
Fair enough.
Yep.
But I the thing is, I do feel like DFAB is a storyline guy for the most part.
I am. I enjoyed the storylines that existed within the men's chamber. I also don't feel like that storyline is at fruition yet, and I didn't think it was. Truth be told, I didn't think it was the best telling of that story. I thought that there was a better way to have Sammy lose.
I agree. There's a better way to do it, right? But I think the strengths of it made up for the weakness of it.
But I also think that they ruined that ability to have Sammy lose that way because they wasted it on Brock and Bobby. Because you can only have so many DQ finishes in one night.
And also
they fucking riot for that.
WWE takes that as a challenge.
Oh, shit.
Also, they kind of just.
There can only be how many DQ finishes a night? Fuck that. We're gonna do a
All of
pay-per-view.
them.
We're gonna call it DQ.
Oh,
every match is gonna end in a DQ.
Vince would do it. But also, they kind of almost said that similar story when Sammy was the one who essentially turned on Roman at Rumble. Right now, you're just putting Jay into that picture, and I was like, okay, I kind of get it, but no, don't. You know what I mean? Like, don't give me the exact same. Make it a tad bit different. Obviously, he didn't make up his mind either, so I guess they did make it a tad bit different. But yeah, I'm just excited to see what happens. I think the match, aside from the story of what happened afterwards, I think just the match in total was just completely fantastic for everything that it should have been as the singles. And because, elimination chambers are elimination chambers. There's spot fests and whatever, and you have 6 guys, whereas Sammy and Roman that all on their own, along with 17,000 screaming Sammy fans. Damn right. So, yeah,
Speaking of which, how many 30-minute Iron Man matches has fucking Roman put on in the last year and a half? Holy shit. His fucking main event matches are constantly going half an hour.
Long. At least, huh? Yeah.
All the fucking time. Like, we don't give him nearly enough
No,
credit for
he has work rate. Yeah, that's fair. We never talk about it, though. That's fair.
But on that note, we are done with the review part. We've said our piece. Hit us up in the comments. Tweet at us. Let us know what you guys think. Were we on base? Were we off base? Let us know. We're also going to be uploading this to YouTube. So if you were watching this on YouTube, hit the comments. Let us know what you thought of Elimination Chamber 2023. We will be back in a couple days with our Game Night Wrestling Fantasy Booking Institute, where we're going to have some fun talking about professional wrestling and what they should do or could do or would do, or what we would do. We also do some games during it that are not necessarily fantasy booking. Like last week, I debuted a game where I open a pack of WWE cards, and you have to put them together in their faction.
That was fun.
Manager, main eventer, mid card, 2 people for a tag team, and a jobber. But the rule is you get revealed one at a time, and you cannot change your answer once you made it. And I think D.A. Fabe got burned on one of them pretty bad because Cora Jade was one of his first cards out. Might have even been the first one.
She was the first one.
And
I managed to win because I had a stellar deck, but
and immediately he was like, "Oh, that's my main eventer." And then later he had like Brock Lesnar,
Andre the Giant,
Andre the Giant. guess that's Andre's Illinois tag team people. But, so we have a lot of fun with that. So make sure if you enjoyed us talking here, make sure to come back Tuesday night, 10:30 Central. So you'll have to do the math based on wherever you are.
11:30 Eastern.
If you're like, I think it's Mark Jack is in fucking 2 hours ahead of us. What's that area?
Oh, damn.
Newfoundland. Yeah, when he said what time it was, and it was 2 hours ahead, and I was like, holy fuck, you must be in Newfoundland because there's no part in the continental United States that gets 2 hours ahead of us.
Correct.
Right.
And in the United States, outside of that, it's water, and there's a few parts of fucking Canada that do 2 hours, Newfoundland, and then
Ahead, no. Well, Sask.
Yep.
And then another part that's an hour and a half.
An hour.
Prince Edward Island,
also
Newfoundland.
I had to look it up. There's a part that does a half hour, so it's an hour and a half.
A half hour.
Yep,
Yeah,
and there's one that's 2 hours.
Hour.
And I was like, what's really funny is Newfoundland, a large portion of Maine is directly under Newfoundland, and so should be 2 hours ahead of us.
Atlantic time zone, but it's
But they just fucking say, nah, we're not doing that shit.
Hey, listen, you 87 people can deal with early sunsets.
Yeah. We ain't playing that shit.
Put on your lighthouses earlier if you need it.
The one that's half an hour is PEI, right? If I'm not mistaken.
Give me a second to pull it up again.
Prince Edward Island. I thought you had it there. That's why. Yeah,
North America. I closed it yesterday because.
Since we're talking pro wrestling, Prince Albert Island.
Prince Albert Island.
So, Nova Scotia is 2 hours ahead, and Newfoundland is an hour and a half ahead.
There you go.
And Prince Edward, it falls in the 4 hours ahead.
4 hours ahead?
Okay,
but
2
he's
hours
saying
ahead.
his time,
Four.
technically.
It's
So that's fucking Greenland, bud.
UTC minus 4 is what it's saying. There's also a small part of Quebec that's in that plus 4.
In that Atlantic time zone?
Mm-hmm. I don't know if anyone fucking lives in that part of Quebec, but
that might
they
be.
get.
What is it called? What's the?
This map doesn't specifically show it, but give me a second.
Okay, I don't think anyone lives there.
Farther east.
Yeah, that's fucking. Well, Quebec's huge though. Quebec.
Yeah.
That's still.
Yeah. Everything's.
I didn't
bigger than
realize.
Quebec. Isn't it Quebec? Isn't that what the locals
Quebec.
call it? This Quebec.
Quebec. Yeah, but that's French,
Okay.
right?
So
Quebec.
layers. More
Layers. Yeah, probably no one lives there. I feel like I would have heard about this in my entire
it's
life of
this
living in this damn province.
I don't know, dude.
area.
You didn't know there was that town that has streets named this street, that street, and the other street that I pointed out to you that one time.
So it's
That's
the panhandle of Quebec that sticks out under Newfoundland. And so it looks like Pointe Perron, Chevery, Teta la Baleine, Old
Really
Fort,
fucking French areas.
Blanc Sablon, and
Blanc Sablon,
a whole bunch of fucking forest.
Okay.
Pakashpi. That part there. It's all that, like half of Anticosti Island is in the -4 area, and half of it's in the -3.
Okay.
And it's basically that line up to the corner of that panhandle.
Oh, okay. Snap. There's got to be a lot of people not living there, though. Like,
What's also interesting, I'm also noting this: the part of Newfoundland that is that hour and a half ahead of us, it extends both farther west and farther east than the Nova Scotia that's 2 hours ahead of us. So there is a part of Newfoundland that is farther east than the 2 hour ahead. So literally in Canada, from us, you go 1 hour ahead, 1.5 hour ahead, 2 hour ahead, 1.5 hour ahead. They're sandwiched in the middle there.
That's hilarious.
The fuck you doing, Canada?
We like to be different.
Like, seriously. But I mean, I just gotta point this one out here, because like, look at this.
Oh, you're gonna share it?
Mm-hmm. I'm gonna share it. If this part right here, see, this part extends farther west than Nova Scotia. Here, this part, and this part over here is farther east than Nova Scotia. So that half hour one is on both sides. It's like, yeah, fucking we'll do whatever we want.
How tiny the central time zone gets and none of it. I mean, not that anybody fucking cares in none of it, but both people.
It's like this right here. Boop. First line. Boop. And then like, oh, all of this up here can be central time too. No one cares.
No, that's it. Yeah, exactly. It's like that. Whatever.
Does anybody live in none of it?
Nunavut, yeah, for sure. I mean, I get customers.
Northwest Territories is really limited as it is, and
no, but I've had people call from Northwest for sure.
Yeah, well, none of it's even
people have settled
more
there.
sparsely populated than Northwest.
So I mean, Google literally has an answer to that. Of the approximately 28,000 Inuit living in Nunavut, more than half of them reside in the eastern, I'm going to pronounce this wrong, Qikqtarjuaq region of the territory, and remarkably, they are mostly young people. Nearly 3/4 of all Inuit living in Nunavut today are less than 40 years old. La-di-da.
And if they're on the eastern side, then they're over by the Hudson Bay, which would make sense because then you can have food.
Right.
Yep. Yeah, the wackiest America gets is like fucking Phoenix is like, we don't do daylight savings time. Fuck that. Right?
Or the 3 counties in Indiana that don't.
Yeah.
Well, like, no, I mean, they're probably going to abolish
half of the year.
All around
half of the year. Half of the year, we're only going to be 1 hour different than Central Time, and the other half of the year, we're going to be fucking 2. And it's up to you to remember which half is which.
Yeah, I think it's actually, I believe it's Newfoundland that doesn't do it anymore. The daylight savings time.
There was a bill passed by, I think it was the Senate in America a year ago to stop doing daylight savings time nationwide.
It still hasn't been voted on by the House.
But the House hasn't done anything with it.
The other side.
Yeah, whichever other side. Yeah, it might have been the House passed it and the Senate hasn't. I can't remember.
They would become permanently daylight savings. They would no longer have.
They'd just say we're just not going to switch. We're going to stay the winter time.
No, summertime.
No, the way the bill was written is it would switch in May and then switch back in fucking October or whenever it does, and then it would stay permanent.
So that place in Blanc-Sablon, the place in Blanc-Sablon you were telling me about doesn't switch, and Southampton Island and some areas in British Columbia don't use daylight savings time, and they stay at standard time all year. I feel like I heard something about either Nova Scotia or Newfoundland, but I think Nova Scotia does.
I feel like I'm looking at.
They should just abolish it all, though. Like whatever.
I'm looking at Blanc-Sablon, and I think there's like 30 people that live there, so I don't think it matters too much.
No, that's fair.
Like whatever.
I mean, does it really matter for anybody though? Wasn't daylight savings a whole thing more so?
It was for
agriculture, and then for the farmers and stuff like that too, to get a little bit more time and so on and so forth. So like, I mean, yes, sure, but with technology now and everything and all that, and the farmers, whatever, they're still going to be working. Like it's not as serious as it is.
Well, I mean, ultimately,
farmers farming till 1 o'clock in the morning during harvest. So
yeah, I mean, ultimately, it comes down to this, right? There's still the same amount of daylight. It's robbing one side to pay the other side. You know what I mean? And so getting rid of it just means you either get up earlier or you stay up later. You know, that's about it.
Yeah.
Trying to remember what the name of the island is. I think it's this one. There's one island.
I still can't believe there's 28,000 people in Nunavut. That's wild. I was like, what? It's not expecting
that is about the most miserable place on earth. I mean, in terms of weather.
Dude, they're telling me that it's like minus 43 there, and that's like normal. And I'm like, oh, enjoy. Stay warm. Like, what are you doing?
There are more people in Greenland than there are there, but there's also more warm areas in Greenland than there is there. Some of those coastal areas on the east side of Greenland actually have growth. You know,
oh yeah,
plants that grow. Nothing grows.
Nothing. Okay.
I'm trying to remember what the name of the island. Or the part of America that you can only reach through Canadian roads. What is the name of it?
There's a part of Iowa that you can only reach by coming to Nebraska.
Point Roberts. I think is the one. Yeah, that's it. It's Point Roberts. It's a part of America that is on the border between America and Canada. It is literally a only accessible by road through Canada. So anyone who lives there, to get to their school, because they don't have schools there, you have to go and take a bus all the way over to, I think it's Blaine, to do it. So everyone who goes to school, who lives in Point Roberts, has to have their passport, get on a bus that drives through Canada, and then back through into the United States to go to school every day.
How long?
I don't know how long the drive is, but
oh, okay. I thought you said okay, sir.
But that's what they have to do. It just cracks me up. It's a weird piece of geography that always cracks me up. That these people, because this is what it looks like. Here we have reached the ADHD part of the stream, ladies and gentlemen. Here's Point Roberts. Here, this lineup here is Canada and America, right?
Mm-hmm.
So these people, anyone who lives here, is an American citizen.
Okay.
But the only way they can get any place, shopping, is to go through Canada. Anytime they go to school, they have to go through Canada.
So
because that's the way the border is written.
What up? That's so wild.
Like, we couldn't have just drawn this down, like here, just there. No, we didn't.
Notice they also own part of that bridge, but not in contact points.
Yeah, not in contact points here.
Not where a road could get to it over here. Nope.
Yeah. So
Nope,
they still have to
fuck
go
you.
up into Canada to get to that road.
So drive the bridge, go
drive the
back
bridge.
to Canada, to go
Back
on another bridge.
through the United
Right.
States, back through Canada.
I'm sure they must have some sort of like.
I would assume they go to school over here in this larger city that's part of maybe what, Victoria, British Columbia?
From what I saw, I watched there's Vancouver.
Vancouver, yeah, part of Vancouver.
Because they're considered American citizens, they have to go to an American school.
Yes, so they come over to the west, I would assume.
Yeah, so they
Not south into this island or whatever it is.
they probably go to one of these over here, Ferndale, Blaine, or because they can't go over here. That's Canada.
Yeah. They could go to this island down here,
They could go down here.
or right above that.
You
What is
know,
that sound there. Eastland, East Sound.
fucking
Fuck.
country borders are fucking stupid.
Especially when, like, you guys agree. Like,
Right.
Yeah.
But
here-
we're also still different, you know.
Here's
Different
another
laws and
point
shit
here.
and whatever.
Here's another point here. We're like, nope, United States is going to go up to here
and then dip back down.
and then come back down here. So we've got this section of land here. What's on
Which
that
is a
section
lot
of land?
lake.
Fucking nothing. It's like,
Is
state
it
forest.
National Forest? State
Yeah.
Forest.
State Forest, Northwest Angle, State Forest.
Couple outposts there. Mm-hmm. I bet that's from the fur trading days.
And then down here, we'll join the river here. That's fine. The river's great. We'll do the river. River's great. Oh wait, the river comes to some lakes here. Fuck, what do we do? Oh, we'll go over here and then down here. Then we need to make sure to include these islands, but fuck those islands. We don't care about those.
It does make you wonder how all this was thought up, though. And then the fact that you actually did agree to some sort of treaty and what you do have and so on. But I'm like, why wouldn't you just include that? Or just make it a little bit more simpler for everybody?
Yeah.
You know, like, holy shit.
Like, and oh, nope. Fucking Canada's got to get this area here. All of this marshland. Fucking, we don't want it. You take it, Canada.
Well, essentially, though, they, however it was decided, whether Canada deciding or states just whatever here.
It's supposed to be in the border waters in Minnesota that you're looking at right now. Yep. Looks like it.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah. That sure be it.
I mean, we do have we're like the second largest mass country in terms of just how much space we have and so on. But we're
and then
obviously
this
not the
fucking
most
island,
populated
we
like
like,
you
nope,
guys,
nope,
right?
we
So-
want it. We want half of this.
We want to ask these.
Halves of this fucking Gull Islands.
Nice.
Fucking give us half.
That's dope. We should go there. We should see how
in the
that would
middle
work.
of Lake Superior.
Yeah.
In the middle.
Middle of Lake Superior.
That's half
then,
ours,
okay.
damn it.
We're
do a
back to
tug-of-war
you.
match.
We're back to using rivers and everything, but we're doing this top river, not this bottom river here. Nope. We got to
I'm
get this
uber
chunk to America, but just this chunk. Right.
What was
this
that
chunk
called?
here?
Gull Island?
Yeah, Gull Islands. Got to get back to it because it's clear the fuck up here.
Half seas on the Gull Islands. Google doesn't even have a decent picture of it.
No, Google's even like, what the fuck do we want that for? I don't know. Okay, and then I mean, here's the thing. Why the fuck did you have to give us Detroit? Right?
I mean,
You could have come down
why
here.
would we?
You could have just cut this off and kept it all for yourself.
Or why didn't we steal Hamilton?
Fucking Detroit. I have a brother who lives in Detroit, and I like apparently I think it's SummerSlam is going to be in Detroit this year. They announced Ford Field. And I'm like, fuck, even SummerSlam's not enough to get me to go to Detroit again.
Oh my God. That bad of an experience, huh?
Oh, dude. Again, on the trip from Detroit to Buffalo, you guys give us lovely Toronto and Mississauga and these beautiful cities. And we give you Detroit and Buffalo.
You know,
What did the
we're nice
Cornwall
people like
Islands
that.
do to us? Right? We had to dip down and say, no, you fucking have Cornwall Islands. Right? We could go through here. That makes more sense. But no, fuck that. You got to take Cornwall. But this section here, we want St. Regis, but you got to take all that fucking shit.
There's some people there that probably have to drive a distance to get to certain things.
Yeah, that place still looks pretty spacious, though.
Oh, there's a lot of people there. But guess what? If you're here at Butters Quick Stop and you need to go to Mohawk Racing Parts and Accessory, guess what? Make sure to grab your fucking passport.
Passport.
Gotta go get me some racing parts. Oh, where's my passport?
Fuck.
And then here, look at that. There's a river we could be following. We could be following this river up. Nope. We want Canada to have all of this stuff. We're just gonna fucking straight shot it across here.
God, this has been a lot of work. Let's just fucking go with a straight line here.
Yeah, straight line.
Straight up.
Straight line. Oh, we're gonna curve the line a little bit here. But then straight line. Look
at them go.
Straight line. See, look at this. Oh, crap. We ran into this thing. Should we do like we did on all the other lakes and kind of split it in the middle? Nah, fucking straight line. We don't care. Straight line it.
Hey, look at them go. Now they're being consistent.
Curve it down a bit. Curve it up again. Curve it back down again. Oh,
What
this,
about
this
this
island here? Should we go around this island? Nah. Fucking straight through it. They don't need this
right
part of it. That's ours.
That's ours.
What is that called? Province Island?
Yeah.
Okay.
Ile de la Provence.
Oh, there you go.
But we have like the majority of it. You just get the fucking tail end.
Just the tip, baby. All we want is
Just the
tip.
tip.
You guys.
All we need is just the tip.
It's okay. We have your nuclear weapons. You get our tip.
And then, but we were doing straight lines, right? We get to fucking New Hampshire? Nope, fucking go up now.
Curvy.
Curvy, all around. Curvy. Oh, we got to, for some reason or other, got to go straight boxy here. And, like, it was very important for us to get this section here, but not the rest of this, just
Canada
this
got
fucking
that,
section.
yeah. Canada got that little piece right there. Like a farmer who farmed that land was like, I'm fucking Canadian. Fuck
Yeah.
you.
And then, like this one here. Nope. We want this part, Canada. You can have the rest of this little archipelago, but we get this fucking part here.
At least that curve right there follows a river, you know.
Mm-hmm. And then,
Or maybe not.
here's a river, but fuck that. We're going off
trees.
We want this beach.
here. Then we
right
want
here.
this little chunk of fucking nothing.
And then this fucking chunk over here. What the fuck? Just follow the fucking river. Do you think this is a rerouting, kind of like Water Lake, or
So some of this could be that the over time the river has changed. You know, I mean, it very easily, like this part here, the river easily could have gone like this before, and now the river goes like this. That's understandable, but like the lake didn't change. Like right in the middle of the fucking lake, and we're like, nope, we want that part there.
I feel like you just go, it's the river.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the river
I don't know
it's
why
the
you wouldn't
fucking
just made it
river.
into like a river thing, like half here.
It
I
feels
think-
like it would balance out.
I think at one point they were like the things of the river, and then some country, like maybe it was fucking Mexico, the Rio Grande, rerouted and took a chunk of America, and America was like, fuck no. Mexico ain't getting that chunk of fucking worthless sand.
Here, Canada, we'll give it to you guys. Mexico can't have it.
I thought that was a road. It was zigzagging back and forth across. There's a fucking checkpoint at every fucking piece on the road. I bet some of those are delicious maple trees.
Probably.
Provide my syrup.
Oh, nope. Now we got to go back this way. You got to go back west. Yeah. Fucking get this part here.
Maine? Is that Maine? Yeah. No.
Nope.
Nope. That's part of.
No, we're getting to Maine. We're part of Maine. We're at Maine.
Okay, we can
had
also
to get this
just
chunk.
end the podcast too. That could help too.
Fuck no, I'm not to the ocean yet.
Oh my god.
Like, nope, we got to get this part again. We did straight lines for too long. We got to go fucking curvy all over the place again. Nope, now we're gonna go straight. Straight this way. Fucking, we can do it. Who cares about rivers? Let's just go fucking straight now. Psych, rivers again.
I'm gonna try to find a doc on that. An interesting how they would have mapped it out or decided to.
The river goes up. Guess what? If you are having lunch at Big Rick's Burgers and Wings, but you need to go to the Cinema 5, right?
Get your passport, bitch.
Get your passport out. I think we're almost to the end here. We decided we really needed these two worthless pieces of
Island.
sandbar. Oh, here's a fun place here. River. Nope, fuck that. Straight south. We don't want that part of Nova Scotia. New Brunswick.
You just
That's
hate
right.
their accents.
I love people from New Brunswick.
Hey, we made it.
do
We made it
great
to the
weather.
ocean here. You can fucking have this island. We don't care. And then guess what? We just gave up.
So what are these two little islands down over here? Are
I don't know.
United States or? I mean, these are obviously Canada over here, but what's Mechakta Seal Colony or whatever?
Yeah, I don't know.
I mean, they could be yours.
Yeah, I mean, it depends. Did we go straight, or did we fucking curve off into some weird ass direction? Because we do that sometimes. 'Cause we're fucking crazy, right? See, the Texas to Mexico border doesn't go quite so crazy. It's like, here. It's wacky, but it's all like, here's where a river was, so we're gonna stick along this river path.
Oh, there's a city here. Let's cut it in half.
Let's cut it in
This
half,
is
yeah.
Laredo, and this is New Laredo.
Yeah, but it's because there's a river. We're staying in the river. River.
How does that work though? That's a Mexican city?
Yeah, New Laredo is
In between.
It's Nuevo Laredo, which translates to New Laredo.
It's like Eagle Pass or Piedras Negras. Nope, we're just gonna stay here along the river. See. I mean, I don't often
This
give
one made
Texas
sense.
a whole lot of credit, but they were like, fucking, we picked the river, and that's what we're gonna do, right? Oh, look, staying in the river. River looped up, we do the loop up. River loop down, we do the loop down. We stay along the river. Oh, here it splits up. We make a choice. This one. Okay, good. Stay along the river. River, river, river.
Until they don't, and then it's just straight lines. All the way.
Yeah, eventually they'll get to that. But they stuck with the
Also-
river pretty far here.
Pure fucking desert.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that might be the easier way is because, like, they have a river to go off and everything else is fucking...
Hey, that little dry spot or mountain right there looked like a butthole.
I was gonna say that.
River comes down. Now river goes over. Now river goes up. See, we stay along the river. Stay along the river. Stay along the river, but there's like...
it simple.
But oh no, two cities here, so you know, you can fucking figure it out. Better bring your passport. Go along the river. I'm suddenly feeling like a streamer. I've been watching him play a video game.
Oh, okay.
And I'm like, okay, great. This guy's playing a video game, and I turn on his VOD to watch him play this video game, and the first hour of it is him playing a different fucking video game. Because like, it's my warm up video game. Guess what? You can cut that out of the VOD. But guess what? I'm not gonna do. I'm not gonna cut this out of the VOD. So, there's you guys going straight, but there's a river there, so we're gonna kind of keep it sort of along the river.
How very hypocritical of you. Someone's gonna watch this back. Oh, I wanted wrestling. Oh, now I'm getting geography lessons with wrestling.
Guess what? I put this at the end of the stream. They can
fair.
fucking stop by now. See here.
Paso.
El Paso. Half of it is Juarez. Half of it is El Paso.
Apparently, that's the place you go to Chico Tacos.
And then here, all of a sudden, they're like, we're tired of the river. Fucking straight ass.
You can zoom out.
Yeah, it goes a long ways
Be
there.
faster.
And then they're like, up here. Take a left. Why did we take a left? Well, at one point it looks like there was a river that kind of meandered south, but we're just going to fucking do it as a hard corner. Just take a left. Go down for no reason. And then take a right. For no real reason. Just straight.
Actually, do you think there was a reason for that? Isn't that the, what's it called, purchase? I can't remember the name of it.
Who knows?
Once upon a time.
And then, here's this section. It's called Baja California. Think we should purchase it with the rest of California? Nah. Leave it. It's got Tijuana. We don't want it. Anyways, on that note, I'm going to close the book on this fucking shit show. If you're still with us, ADHD.
We're
is fun.
sorry.
If you're still with us, make sure to like, share, and subscribe. If you are following this on Twitch, you can follow us, or you can subscribe. If you are a Amazon Prime member, you can throw us a subscribe for absolutely free for you. Gets you commercial free and access to some emotes and stuff like that. And it helps us out a ton. You can also help us out by purchasing merchandise like the signature shirt that we showed off earlier. Behind DA Fave. I'm not going to ask JLB to show it off because he's in the dark.
I am in the dark.
And mine's behind me somewhere, but you can't see it on this either. Or like the Those Who Can't Wrestle podcast, things like that. Merch links are in the doobly-doos, so you can find it there. You can follow us on the social media. You can follow me at Raw and Order WBU, just like, if I can get my hand in the frame, just like it says right down there. Boom, boom, boom. You can follow DA Fabe at...
That.
Yep. DA Vincent Kayfabe.
What I should move down below, but I don't. 'Cause,
Whatever.
you know,
And you can follow JLB at
twitch.tv/JLBTLC25. And I was an Elimination Chamber attendee. It was great, as well as SmackDown. It's always awesome to see live, but I miss my commentary. So unless it's like a huge pay-per-view again, I probably won't be going. It's fun, but it's also exhausting.
commentary. But on that
commentary
note,
whore.
we're going to go ahead and close the book on this. Overall, good pay-per-view as a whole.
Yeah.
I would say best pay-per-view of the year. I know DA Fabe says half of it was worst pay-per-view of the year.
yeah, I actually would give it both, best and worst. There were parts that were so bad.
To me, it was just one part. It was just one part was so bad.
Just a broad brush.
But the rest of it was overall good. So
When both those pay-per-views were 5 matches long, though.
now that being said, we've got a month until AEW Revolution, so we'll see where best pay-per-view of the year falls after that. I'm pretty stoked. I got all excited because there's a Pro Wrestling Revolver show in Davenport, Iowa, Clive, Iowa, which is right outside Davenport. That's got like John Morrison and Kushida, Alex Shelley, a whole bunch of like names I know, including an appearance by Hall of Famer Lex Luger. All of this stuff. It's about a 2-hour drive for me. I'm like, sweet. I could go and see Pro Wrestling Revolver. And then I realized it's the Saturday before Revolution on Sunday. And I'm like, fuck. Can I really drive 2 hours to go to an indie show and then come back and still have the energy to do fucking Revolution the next day? Live stream reaction? I don't know.
And you have the wife's forgiveness enough to do that.
That's the other thing there, man. Leaving her alone.
That's the most important thing.
But anyways, that's neither here nor there. Like I said, like, share, and subscribe. Tell your friends about us if you like it. You can support us with bits. You can support us with tips. There's information all over on how you can support us that way, or by purchasing the merch, or just subscribing. But on that note, we're going to go ahead and close the book on the Wrestling Booking Unit. Thank you all for joining us. We will see you soon.